Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics. If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
La ilallah sangai baram la ilallah la ilallah la ilallah la ilallah tijan fasaiqi qadamu mighwani wa dunfa minhu azani wa alu minhu aqrani wa qawli la bilhani مكس السيق في سار سنينا مقبلا للإله ذاك الإماء سيختجان خيبة تربة صفوني لك أزكى تسليم طول الليالي ليس يروي قلب المحب ذواتا في رقد في تربيك المتالي
Kër Baay Show fii ci Gambien Talents TV dañu ko isil chaque ajuma ñetti waxtu ba ñeenti waxtu.
قلوب الخلق مالوف الناس الله برهما قلوب الخلق مالوف الناس الله برهما لا أنت ليسنا من كل مقوس القوس برهما كولك لا إله إلا الله لا إله
fihlu seen xel dal ñu ngi leen amal ndox ak courant 24 hours emuñ si loolu rek njëg bi yomb ba bëgg a dee
fu ñu nekk nag neex a xam ba bëgg a dee si gannaaw gaaraas si base bi foofu sa Farafenni lu néew rek ngay dox am si marché bi jënd loo bëgg delluwaat sa kër ak Yaa Faatu's Guest House mun nga noo jokkoo ñun si 790 1355
35 30 489
email si ombay7843@gmail.com si Yaa Faatu's Guest House so leen fa demee dinañ leen jox customer care service bu baax seen xolay sedda ba ni ngeen fay jógee Yaa Faatu's Guest House Yaa Faatu's Guest House lii leen amal yéen ñuy dem Farafenni saay boo leen tëddee nelaw leen ndaxte Yaa Faatu's Guest House génne na seen coono bi yëpp fii si biir dëkk bi. Yaa Faatu's Guest House Yaa Faatu's Guest House dama ne jox leen ma seen noppay yéen ñi nga xam ne ni bëgg ngeen a dem Farafenni nag ñu bari den fay bëgg a dem di xalaat ndax am naa mbokk aw ma mbokk fan laay dem dëkk ak fan laa du dem dëkk seen coono jeex na seen xalaat jeex na te si biir Yaa Faatu's Guest House ñu ngi leen fa amal li nga xam ne ni moom mooy c'est ko self container
saala cabinet
ñaari cabinet ak saal
single room
néegi nag nekkul ne la naa jox waaye duñ leen laaj mooy sori naa ñëw indiwaale leen seen yére kase ndaxte yére yi sax foo leen koo def ñu ngi leen ko amal saala cabinet yi bu nekkaa nga am lal bu nooy saal bi ñu ngi ko defar ba mu yaaña toogu yi nekk fa télé bi nekk fa channel bi nekk fa channel bu la neex ngay cuun waaye nag amuñ si loolu rek yéen ñi nga xam ne yéen ay dem ak seen famille ak seen njaboot benn nit wala ñaari nit ñu ngi leen fa amal waañ yu baax waañ yu yaaña bagage yi waañ yëpp ñu ngi fa yow yaay xool loo bëgg a tooga rek nga teg si gaz bi daal di taal tooga lekka sa xol sedda
léegi tamit nag amal lañ leen lii di AC ak ñu nga xam ne fan rek lañ am waaye amuñ si loolu rek ñu ngi leen amal fu nga xam ne foofu ngeen di toog ngeen fiixlu seen xel dal ñu ngi leen amal ndox ak courant 24 hours amuñ si loolu rek njëg bi yomb ba bëgg a dee
fu ñu nekk nag neex a xam ba bëgg a dee si gannaaw gaaraas si base bi foofu sa Farafenni lu néew rek ngay dox am si marché bi jënd loo bëgg delluwaat sa kër ak Yaa Faatu's Guest House mun nga noo jokkoo ñun si 790 1355
3530
Afternoon. Welcome back, everybody. Council, if you're ready to continue, please proceed.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Welcome back, Mr. Witness. I hope you're able to proceed. Very well, sir. Before the break, we were talking about the arrest and interrogation
jandim bita fojondi wala darta men fanna men kacha wala mutaro ani nyinin karo li jabro men kunta ni mutamol tema
of individuals who are believed to have been involved in some drug dealing activity in which the NIA was scammed of 15,000 euros.
Andu molla me alon kalbe wolle be wolle nyinin kaga wolle me alon ko imuta molla men alon ko jikobe je ko sobobe je ko ikoy droko e wala mutebul andum ye NIA fana ye ne ko do be bida fo dollar euro be bida wiltam ani nunu
and some members of the NDEA accused or alleged to have interrupted or interfered with an NIA operation.
Andun droko do kula dol beje men yalon ko inata na kanwale kan ko inata ne dabula NIA la do ko to puruka droko nyin na ko nyin topoto.
So those who are arrested were brought to the NIA for investigation.
Andu ina men numura na ko nyin gono inata ne inata NIA la sansan kono puru nyin karol ni jabiro ku ini woltema.
And you have told us
yenyim fonyele ko
that amongst those arrested were Fernando Ko,
Fernando Koti,
Ansumana Fati, and someone else, and a Gambian called Lamindur. And you participated, or you have slapped and kicked some of them in order to subdue them. Do you recall that?
I do. And it is correct with the exception of Ansumana Fati, was not arrested and brought on that particular day. He was arrested, I think, 48 hours later. And up to today as we speak, I have never seen or met Ansumana Fati. Okay. Thanks for that clarification. So, when before the break we were discussing the arrival of Babu Cham,
who
was also arrested and brought to the NIA. So kindly tell us what happened. Remember, you had told us that after you hit these guys who were there, that is what's his name again?
Fernando Ku.
Wala Fernando Kuti
and the others,
anindo kotangolu
you left.
itatale.
The information we have is that, well, you remained there until so arrived.
Kuma ko men soro jang dol bulo kono ja wala minti ko biringo ko be burale hani kabi ituta jidin kiranyin to jele fo wato men so futata din kiranyin.
What do you say to that?
Yem mun so tabe men folo kuma ka ngonin to.
It is not correct. I'm not telling. It is important to know that where these people were, and my office, and in the office, it's just a stone throw. It is only a door that serves as a barrier. Directly or indirectly, it is true to say I was there. Because that place is all within the premises of my office.
So were you there when Fernando Ku and others were being beaten?
Amunta ebenu njela birim Fernando Ku anado kotangolo jarta ke itagireya.
Other than the slap and beating that I gave them, I did not witness any beating there in my presence because I left shortly and entered my office. Ngamanke ngamelu tulubusa ani ngamelu damfu biro botala kudo mankente nyala je menketa bute rote birikatu birinte ngawokedro mammeje mbota jele utumola ntata na office okono.
Earlier on you told us that you were aware and that you saw them undressed naked.
Very true, that is true.
Ya kalamudal andu ya jele biriye wura ikoy baye wulu nyame.
And in the process of them being undressed, they were also beaten.
Wato benna be ila fengol fana wura kela inata ne fana lipa wato fana nale.
Council, I want to attest with what I did. Council left folaka bambandi ngamenke.
Is it this? Are you just trying to uphold the NIA mantra? That you don't incriminate your own colleagues?
Saying for lafta NIA laning sandoni tol fanan ka baraja me lafta ko malafiki mo nyodo ko tangol ke dundi ko nyin kono bang.
Council, I'm not here to protect anybody. Council, ndamanga jampurka momondin kanta.
You know for certain that those people were beaten.
Yen lon nando sabati tala ko mo nyi lipale.
After looking at them, that can be ascertained. But I am sure of what I did.
Well, talk about what others have done. This was practically in your office. How could you not know?
Council, what I did not witness, I do not want to give you any hearsay.
But Mr. Witness, even if you did not see it, you would hear. This was right there. The distance between you and I is much longer than the distance between your office and the other room where the beatings were taking place. Is that not the case?
That is the case. If there was any beating that I was aware of and I saw, I would have told you, sir. I have nothing to lie to you. It's
a case of seeing no evil and hearing no evil. But evil did take place. You know it, they were tortured.
By looking at them, I agree and I saw that, but I did not see it. But when you look at them, you know it happened.
After you left, in the first instance when you slapped them around and kicked them, how long did it take for you to see them again?
When I returned, I found them naked. I returned back to my office. I heard noise. That was when Babu Cham was brought.
So when you saw, between the time you left And when you came back and found them naked, how much time elapsed? How long did it take?
Britata imurun tanang ilo watu tani watu mena bejani la ta ani muruno ay watu jellel ta.
So I think some minutes, it would be between 10-15 minutes or even more, because I spent some time having debriefings with the men on the field.
Asikeno kabo minuti tan kata minuti tan lulu wala sisi auto do manin katu wotu mon tatal beddi amol lanu nim modolu beddi am kam min yalon ko wollebe bantala do ko kekan.
And where did you hold that debriefing?
O kacha ni ngodi amunyi o kata min dola di am dalay mole me yalon ko do kulalam.
I was in my office and they were in the field.
Wonte ben office lo ko non kadi am men wolbe bantala la do ko wala.
So you spoke to them on the phone?
Mun de di am telephone mobile on.
And the time you returned inside the room and found them naked, was it the time you realized that they were already tortured?
Wato na ne muru da bungo nyin kono la ba ya tara ko ye wurale fo wato le ya kalam da ko ye tajire yale ba.
Correct. And it was visibly obvious.
Correct. Kena ba to la nyande nyalo de ngondo kalon ne ko ye tajire yale.
Tonya.
What made it visibly obvious?
Mune ya kindi ko momo nyalo ta ngai kalon ne ko ye tajire yale mune mandar goti.
With the marks on their body.
Tamansero marke men be balo bala.
Were they just ordinary bruises, lacerations, or were they grave injuries? We have received evidence on this.
These are bruises and lacerations.
Their bodies were bloodied.
I did not see any blood on them.
But you saw wounds and
bruises. I did saw them, yes.
It was obvious they were tortured.
Very true indeed.
Did you say anything?
At the time, I did not say anything.
Did you do anything about it?
I did not do anything about it.
You acquiesced. You acquiesced. You pretty much accepted the situation.
I agree, sir. That's a fact.
It was done in your office.
Within the premises of surrounding my office, not inside my office.
Not inside your room, but in your office. You told us a little while ago that this was in your office. The room you sat and where the torture took place is even less than the distance between you and I.
That is correct, but my office and that conference hall, there's a distance. It is in the conference hall and not inside my office.
And do you agree that that beating, that torture these people suffered was just a continuation of the same transaction that you started before you left?
Slaps
and kicks. It means therefore to say that all of you are responsible for torture.
Alright, sir.
And when this person, Babu Cham, was brought in, what happened?
He was asked to undress.
Why?
I think that was to subdue him.
Again, another demonstration of this modus operandi of the NIA. Humiliate the person while the person is being interrogated. That was it, wasn't it?
Agreed.
And that was a violation of the person's rights.
Very true.
Then what happened? Did he undress? He removed everything.
Very true.
The victim said he was older than all of you. And in Gambian culture, we would like to always pride ourselves for giving deference and respect and regard to our elders. He was not given that difference, was he?
In this condition, that's true. That council is very important. Elderly people they should act responsibly.
Mr. Witness, perhaps I should explain this. Whenever I question witnesses about victims, oftentimes the defense is that this is what the person has done. And that is why we did this to him. And when I ask questions, people think that I am actually defending the actions of the victim. That is far from the case. I'm not here endorsing the actions of people who were brought to the NIA. I am not endorsing the actions of rebels who attacked the Gambia. I'm not endorsing the actions of drug dealers. I am not defending the actions of coupists or people who want to overthrow the constitution. I became a prosecutor because of my abhorrence to these activities. But our position here is that irrespective of whatever these so-called criminals or suspects of crimes have done, irrespective of what they have done, even if they killed somebody very close and dear to me, they still have rights under the laws of this country. And the purpose of this investigation is to show that as civilized people who live in accordance with law, there is certain behavior that is simply unacceptable. Regardless of what the victim has done. And that is what we are investigating. No matter what Fernando Co and others have done, whatever view or conception you may have about Babu Cham and others, would you agree that these people have rights? Do you agree with me?
I do.
And in fact, the law would say every person shall have A, B, C, and D right. It does not exclude. And it is these principles that we are here defending. And it is these principles, the violations of these principles, that we are investigating. Babu Cham had the right to be treated humanely. by stripping him naked right there in front of everybody else, you have degraded him, you have humiliated him, you have violated the law, no matter what he may have done. Do you agree?
I do.
Babu Cham suggests that when all these things happened, you are there, the current Director General of NIA was present. You told us that earlier the Deputy Director General was also present. Alaji Moore was also present. When he was stripped naked, were all these people present? Yourself included. The only area that I am not very sure about was the presence of the Deputy Director General.
Director General
At what stage? Whether at this particular incident there, he was there. Which particular incident? The first incident? This Babu Cham issue. Or the Babu Cham incident?
Babu Cham.
Okay, we would leave it at that. You have questioned the presence of the Deputy Director General.
Yes, though he was within the complex and premise of the NIA,
but when
I cannot fully remember as to whether he was standing there. But
when the first set was undressed, stripped naked, he was there. I cannot remember seeing him. Are you going back to default mode? Protect your people? My problem is one thing. I do not want to involve anybody that I am not sure of. Let's go back to what you saw of. When you inflicted pain and injury on these other guys, Fernando Co and Co, your Deputy Director General was seated. He came later to find us there. No, Mr. Witness. I think you are now contradicting yourself. Earlier on you told us that all of you were seated there when this happened. I did not say he was there. I did not say that. Okay. The commissioners would review the tape. That's what you said. He was seated there. No, he wasn't. I did not say he was seated there. Mr. Witness, I know what you said. You said he was there. I would not have just plucked it from the air. I cannot remember seeing him seated there. You remember seeing him present there. He came to the conference or to finals, but he was not sitting there. Okay, when he came, he saw something. And he saw them naked. Did he do anything about it? Council, we did not do anything about it. And when we come back to it, don't water it down. The Deputy Director General was complicit to this torture and this act of humiliation of these suspects.
Deputy Director General adabe nyin ko konole nyin tajire ya ani nyin doya ro men kanyin molula.
You agree? Taking cognizance of this situation, I agree. Tacit approval. Director or directly or indirectly correct. Well, we say tacit. So we've established that stripping people naked and parading them before an investigation team was a modus operandi of the NIA at that time.
Sapatindro kita nyinkula wala nyinde ko mol muta ke nata ke wura ke nata ke londi mol nyato me yaron ko wo mol bela o mari nyolla ko kisi gon o baral tamandri bulol me yaron ko wala NIA la tamandri bulotino o watola.
You agree?
Isonda.
For that specific operation, true, correct. Now tell us about Lamin Kabu.
Silang Lamin Kabu la kumo ofanyaba.
Lamin Kabu, I think it was on a Tuesday when the Deputy Director General alongside with Usman Sow,
Deputy Director General Usman Sow,
current Director General
SIS,
came to my office and brought a gentleman whom I later know to be Lamin Kabu. This is Lamin Kabu. He is among those who obstructed that operation. Were you told in which institution Lamin Kabu worked at the time? In the affirmative, sir. Which institution did he work for? It was then NDEA. So the allegation is that he impeded or obstructed the NIA operation. Very true. And what was the operation? The operation is about some alleged foreign nationals bringing drugs into the country. That is not a fair characterization of what happened. Rather, it was some foreign nationals selling or purporting to sell drugs in the country. Isn't that the case? Probably. No, in fact, most likely. We did not know whether they in fact brought drugs into the country. All you knew at the time was that they were purporting to sell drugs at a particular instance. Was that not the case? That was the case. Thank you. No, let's just proceed. There is no need for some polemic. If it's irrelevant, it's irrelevant. You were not at the border trying to interdict drugs that were coming into the country. Isn't that the case? You were at Birkama, engaged in buying and selling drugs transactions with some foreign nationals. That's what happened. Isn't it? Correct? And the Lamin Kabu and others worked for which institution? The drug institution of the country. Wasn't it their responsibility to interdict a drug dealing transaction? It is their responsibility. Exactly. We would not go into the issue of jurisdiction and turf, which institution was right, which institution was wrong. We've dealt with that extensively with your Director General. But would you agree that the institutions of state should respect their authority.
Bankola doku bundalu inyanda kila doku bunda dinkira le miano ko be nyaaton ko hormala e bunya
And limit themselves to their spheres of responsibility.
ando yi mo doku bunda yalo dlalo nyanda danda damen ando nyanda to manyanda fura damen.
Do you agree with that?
Fo isonda wala ba.
I wouldn't agree with that.
nte sonna wala
Why?
munanna
If a crime is committed
nin kuruya ko keta
in front of an officer
mo nyala memu doku lati
who is not part of that institution that is responsible to contain that crime,
me yalon ko tonya ate mantra doku bundala memu nyanta lodula kila wokola
or they are in receipt of an information
bari inata kibaro soto
and they think they can deal with it and then will transfer the case to them later as it has been happening.
andu etelenye muta konteli si kubono nyintole ngana approach kaka murundi moluma menu fonla doku
Mr. Witness, you know that this is a self-serving statement. It's not born out of the law of this country.
Yalo na zedo nyimu ko e fanna kumolde amantra na luara ko luaya fanyame amanke wanyamati.
The NIA was an intelligence gathering institution.
NIA mu dingira de me yalon ko nyanna kullol kafun na nyoma ka bundu nyokan.
You should not just go and carry out operations and then later report to the institution that is responsible.
Manyanna kala la dogo de purkata ale dogo ke ninga botala ale ukta e kul data ale kafunyo ale di dogo bunda me yalon ko wolle marta o fanna ale o me dogo me.
You are not an enforcement agency.
Almanke doku bundar me yaron ko nyanna tamandro kala kula me yaron ko kulwa ya fanyame.
You are intelligence gathering agency. You gather the intelligence and you send it to the enforcement agency. That is the way it should work.
NIA to la doku me wala nga kullo maranyo kafunyo ma banko e ena na eta ya di doku bundar me yaron ko wala marta doku kullo nyin tamandir bulola.
That's the way it should be.
Ko ka ke wala nyama fon.
Every institution has a legal mandate and it should stick to that legal mandate.
Doku bunda kullu aya tandi nyame aya tilol ta standi la lete nyanna kata ma bisilol men ando ay dandula di la be danna damen.
Overreaching would create problems and conflict.
Ninga dal sela tanyo kan dando ko la karolo do abina mun na la wala nyindi ko abina fitino la natina dam maltema.
Do you agree with that?
Fo isonda wala ba.
In certain circumstances, I wouldn't.
nyaado nyama nte sonna
Why?
munanna
This operation in nature,
yin doku nyin kilanya
it was beyond apprehending ordinary drugs.
atambita nyina la purka sira fendimulu kawul muta
It coincided at a time,
ani wato le benta
Coincided
ani wato le benta
when drug spillage was rampant in Guinea-Bissau.
biring wato drogu tamando anin ajulaya abis jurumarin ne gine bisaw
And the world was calling Guinea-Bissau a narco state.
andun dunia be ka gine bisaw kumande drogu banko le lawtumo
According to the briefing given to me,
ko e kacha satante nyamin
that there are people from Guinea-Bissau,
o molu soton ta menu botanan gine bisaw
among them ex-security personnel,
andun wolu kono kanto nin tankada bunda do kula bije
that has brought drugs into the country.
meli drogu dundina nyim banko kan
Well, that was a lie in the first place.
O mu fani ya di.
But even if it was true,
hanni ngadara to nyalem.
the moment you have gathered that intelligence,
Wala men altole kullo nyimbeta ya kafunyoma.
the matter ought to have been forwarded to the appropriate enforcement institution.
Do ko ni ninga darale o kibaro beta ya kafunyoma nyanna dila men no wala an men an ko
Isn't that the reason why the NDEA is created?
wala ma sabu ba NDA ya londi ba.
That is true, but in these circumstances, it is in the opposite.
o muto nyaleti bari ko la nyin lanya karomba fatatale
The recipient of the information at that time,
kibaro futata memma wo tembola
in our assumption,
nteliye ko tanu nyami
was based on trust.
abebe larin jikole kanu
They feel they can operate and do this
itelenyi mutale ko isi nyinko tamandino le kake
and hand over to them.
ne bitun sina ko nyin chika
Well,
kadi
it was wrong. Patently wrong. the NIA was overreaching. The NIA was flexing its muscle, injecting itself in things that did not concern them.
Ni mukuer mi alan ko amantiling NIA kita molden mi alan ko ila do ko ni kala na tambide kate dabula wandi do ko bunda do la do ko de kate dabula walton.
And let's be honest, today you are Deputy Director General of NDEA.
Nga tonya fonyo bi fele telam director no lan ko di bunda mi alan ko le ko
Director of Operations. Director of Operations, yes.
Ko itele marlin do ko tamandre buro la bunda.
I am sure you would not appreciate it if you are conducting an operations and you see the NIA coming and interjecting themselves. You would appreciate it.
If I find them, they are the ones doing it, I will front back and listen and wait. I want to
that
bring
would have been
a scenario.
Excuse me, that would have been a dereliction of duty. That would have been, and you would have abandoned your responsibility.
I wouldn't say it that way. If you see the entire security,
perhaps maybe that is the reason why we are in this situation. Because if NIA officers, senior officers think like you,
me alon ko ena e do kula kebala e mira ko te ke mira nya
disregard the written law,
ay anya kasi luala me alon ko be safari ngavelari,
then these problems would happen.
ora nyin ko le galbe kelele
Our security institutions would clash, and they would keep clashing.
iba jela woto na tanko bundalo ibe tarla kele
The army has been involved in trying to interdict drugs. The NIA would try to interdict drugs, and DEA try to interdict drugs. They meet, they collide, they fight.
So jare bundale ba kata la ka banta bile droko la kura NIA ba kata ka banta bile droko la anu bundame an ko luwa di somebody wala pour ka droko ke lol fana ba kata iba
every institution should respect its governing legislation.
doku bunda o doku bunda nyannete nyannere tamandri bulo ni ko luwa di na nyanna hormala ya bunya
and remain within the framework of its authority.
That
is what should happen in a democratic state. Is that not true?
It is true, but I think
let's leave it and we move on. The commission would be able to deal with this issue of clash of authority between various institutions. They have enough on that, they'll be able to do it. If you have any other views that you want to say about this, write it and send it to the commission. Let us not be held hostage by this. Kabu was brought. You were told that he was one of those NDEA officers who obstructed the NIA operation. What happened after that?
I welcomed him.
Bismillah.
I asked him to sit.
When
he sat, myself, the then Director External Security, currently Director General SIS,
me along ko wolem Director to nyaton ko to External Security sa telen Director. Ntani wala tata na office kono.
I said, Mr. Kabu,
Mr. Kabu,
you are brought here for interrupting an operation. What do you have to explain? From the interrogation connected, but Mr. Witness, let's look at the fairness of this. He is the drug enforcement officer. He was going on an operation that he is statutorily entitled to do. He didn't know that you were going to be there. He could equally say you impeded his operation. I quite agree with you. But what was revealed in the investigation, that they were arranged and organized. But isn't that a coincidence? Isn't that a coincidence?
When you went there, you had no inkling that NDEA officers would be there. True. You had no reason to suspect that those drug dealers were in cohorts with the NDEA officers. So when you went there, you were merely overreaching. You were just the busybodies. You had no business being there. Your role should have been, oh, this is intelligence, let's transmit it to the responsible institution, let it do its work. That is what ought to have happened. So by bringing Kabu and subjecting him to your jurisdiction, you are in fact putting yourselves over the NDEA.
Kabu na dika nata la doku bunda nyindo odron ya itandile ko albe kabu nyi albe kula ke kala me alon ko ali ala boko nyi al tambita kabu la boko fa wala busa bulu.
It's just a show of power.
Amunda le sembole tilingala dron.
Council, I would suggest you allow me to explain.
Council, mafole priyam bato ngafo.
The operation at Brikama,
dogo min keta Brikama.
I knew nothing about the operation. What was phase 1 of the operation? First, if I may learn, sir. Phase 2 of the operation, when I was called to create a reinforcement. The debriefing given to me was that that operation in question, there were drug officers that were complacent in it. That were aiding those drug dealers. That was the briefing given to me. Sir, if I may continue.
Let me ask a question. At that stage, did NIA debrief or did they inform the directorate, the NDEA?
For what will NIM? For a bundame marlin droko keranyala ila nyatongo for a kalamutandila bang?
That is not to my knowledge, sir. What they told me, that there's a huge consignment, but that also is not true. Because you were told that it was a transaction of 1 kilo of cocaine for which the NIA purported to be buyers, paid 15,000 euros and the sellers made away with it. It was in fact not a genuine drug sale. It was a 419 scam wherein you were giving some substance which is passed off to be drugs. That is the case, Council. I am suggesting that if you listen, I will make this point very clear to you. What was revealed, these drug dealers, having knowledge that what they are selling is bad, they will always arrange a drug officer to ensure that that operation is distorted. I will suggest you allow me to
ask my question. The NIA can't have it both ways. They cannot say that a huge quantity of drugs is what these people are selling, and they turn around and say it's a case of 419 where they pass off a small quantity of substance which they pass off as drugs. They cannot have it both ways. It must have been one thing or the other.
Council, this information, what I gathered, was from a source to their agency. Who gave the agency this information? That there are drugs in the country, in the hands of Guinea-Bissau nationals. That was the initial investigation.
My counsel.
When,
council
sir, if you may allow me,
ni sembatu no demanding
I will do this explanation for your better understanding.
banyin kuma concernandi le ma
Having not got that information,
kabringa wo kibaro nyin soto
witness, what I want to happen, what I want you to realize is,
sedo lafta men kalamuta ko
don't use the discovered information,
kane muna fanning kibaro mi alon ko wolle fintita
okay? Information you gathered later
kibaro men kafu nyoma ko man nyaato demanding
cannot be justification for your earlier action.
kan ito sabatindino la puri la baro la men kenun ko man to
You are trying to suggest
iba kata kana pur kay fok tande
that
ko
because drug enforcement agencies were also involved in the transaction, the NIA had to act.
ko drog do kulal mi alon ko do ko wala mi do ko wala mi ko wol fan be dabe ko ni wala tin NIL fan fo si dabu
So I am telling you that that is discovered information.
wo mu mbayin fele ko mu kuma kibaro mi alon ko wanyartale
Discovered only after the NIA has acted on the basis of the first information.
wo wanyarta wadle be alon men kabrik NIL dabula ko nyin kono wato ben ko nyin to wanyar
You understand?
ko man ton
That was not what I was briefed.
amanke ko yo kuma ko le sindimade
We were told, I was told,
ya fontaine ko
when the operation was being handed over to me,
abri wato na yo do ko nyin dinantala pour nga
that they went into that theater.
tata wodulan minto
Drug officers were complicit in the entire drug.
mol mi yalan ko be mararen drogo ko la nyim banko kay dabo nyim wo ko nyim kono wo jula yakono
Having that operation been interrupted
san ka bringa bariya ke wo ila wo do ko nyina
during the first probings,
wo fulo dula nyim
it was later discovered it was 419,
nata na lonko ko nyim ko manke to nyati
and that these officers
sa nyim mol mi yalan ko nyim do ko la ni
were enablers
to mu mol le de mi ay be mako
in the sense that
mi nyin kanko
these people will sell something bad which is not pure drugs,
be fenna wa fela mi yalan ko amam bete
but
amanke
they wouldn't want the buyer to go with that bad drugs.
sa ite lefla min ba sana ni wo drogo mon bete ani weta
If he goes and discover it's bad, he will come back for his money.
na samba na ta longo ko wo drogo nyim mon bete abe mudone na plana ko do ta
So these officers will be arranged.
sa nying office nying police hol nying drug squad police hol bol parendila le
They will be given the time and place
be wato fole ani mo abe kala dinkira minto
where this operation or transaction will take place.
blami yalon ko nying kol nying do kol nying kol be kala walto
And then they will apprehend the buyer.
sa e bajala ko min ba sankan ya muta
They will always wait until when money has exchanged hands,
ike batule folo foni haje kodo ni ya kodo di foko pare
and they will jump at the buyer,
sa be nyapila sandi
get the drugs,
ka drogo mutabul
get the buyer.
ka miya sanko muta
So if I may land, I want the understanding of the commission.
lafta ni salina
We understand this. We have received extensive evidence on this. Let me complete this. When that happens,
ni wo keta foko pare
you as a culprit being caught with the drugs,
ite mi yalan ko yetela muta ni wo drogo
the
ni
seller would have been given chance to escape.
sa yaje mi ya wafi mai bo mako la pride kana
So this was exactly what happened in this operation.
and they
would receive commission. Exactly. That is the allegation. So in a sense, and that was true, sir. In a sense, you were saying these were rotten drug enforcement officers. Very correct. And very, very rotten, sir. And they were doing scam operations with drug dealers. So further justify that, sir. Correct. But the position is that when the NIA decided to go to Birkama, they knew no such thing. The only thing they knew was there's a huge quantity of drugs brought in by some Guinea-Bissau Guineans. That is correct. According to them, sir, just a moment, that should have necessitated the drug enforcement agency being informed. At worst, there should have been a joint operation between the two institutions. The NIA had no business taking it upon itself go into that operation by itself alone.
NIL man haji o haji soto pour kata ka do ko nyin tamandi dam malu.
I know you disagree with that.
Ngalo ne balanta wala.
But the other point is,
Bari fanna do menti.
the NIA cannot call in aid
NIL de na e kumando ke de marola.
the information it received after it has carried out a failed operation.
Kibaro men soto ka pour kata do ko kula me alon ko e beital nun ko man to ida fi nyata men.
You cannot use that as justification for your actions.
Ito talo ye muna fan wala pour ka ila barola e men ke komando.
It is said here that
Afata janne ko
the NDAA could not have been informed because their agents were involved in the deal.
NDA ko wol mol kala mudande kartu la do kula do be je me alon ko dabe o dilo nyin kono bo business o nyin kono le.
But that is a wrong argument.
Bari o mu kula me alon ko nyo sababu tilim balole tilim bali ala o man tiling.
I do not agree.
Man so wala.
The recipient of that information,
Mi yalan ko wo kibaro fetata wo momima.
what they told me,
To le min fanya.
that the source said
Komi min fongo kibaro fongo bota min fongo.
that drug officers are aware
Komi miliyalan ko be drogo bunda do ko
and they were
la.
complacent with those people.
Do ni wo mol be do ko la.
Let's leave that matter
No
and then we move on.
Ngata fanna do la.
Kabu was brought to your office as the rotten agent.
Kabuna ti ila office do ka tumala
So there you are talking to him.
When I told him what he was brought for,
Abringa fa mu dalilo mi yatina ya natina.
he vehemently denied it.
Baranta wo lot la fonto.
I said, then you will tell the investigators that.
Nko nga ko sa woto kisi la isa wo fo wali.
And then what did you do?
I took my phone, I took the landline on my table,
Nana mobile ta no office
and called
la.
the OC, Officer Commanding Investigation,
And who was that?
Sukuta Jamme.
Sukuta jamme.
This is what Kabu told the commission.
Su kabu fela men fo commission e.
He said you asked him
Ite ya nyininka
to give a statement
pura kuma kan odi safero
that is similar to the statement given by the NIA officers, and he refused.
ay kuma kan di me yaron ko anin ena yelle men di be mu yemu
Which they wanted, and I refused to
Duriya kan
lie against those that I did not know.
puru ibriya kani wala pura ayo ke pura fania la mol kan men yaron ko amelon
He picked up his phone,
ya ila telephone ta
and I heard him say in Wolof to somebody, Alaji Moore.
nga moya ba fo kan telephone ta moy alaji mor
And he said that
biring ayo fo
some minutes later,
minute dan tan nyato
Alaji Moore came in.
alaji mor na ta kono to adunta
Is he lying?
abe fania
Alaji mor manke moti mi atelem nyaton ko ti kisi la dula bo.
Alaji Moore was head of special operations.
alaji mor mol de mi ko telem nyaton ko to ne bunda dum alaji mor keta mol mi ko dabula da nyin kisi ro nyi wato be kono le.
The night before he was in the reinforcement team and that operation too.
Suto nyinja naba dakela wo mol kono mi yalan ko wolle be
Cake.
Biribe
Alaji Moore was there.
biribe Fernando na do nyo ko ngoli be butulo bunde be damfula alaji mor benu njele
So he was inextricably linked with this operation and the investigation. Correct?
amul ndala ko nyin ko nyimbe ya yemen fo kisi gande ya choki jele ko fo wonde do nyaata.
Council, can we make a point clear here?
Aso mbato na kudo senandi jamba.
Kabu was brought 48 hours after the entire operation.
Kabu ya natile montoro muni wati tawo tanna.
Sanity has been achieved.
Pardon?
Sanity has been achieved.
Atara ya long koma
Maybe you would explain that later.
Keno nyaro do mande be je firi na nyele.
Protocols has to be observed.
Wol nyanta ka nyami nyanta ko be
After sanity has been achieved.
When sanity was achieved,
kabring sa ya long ko be le nyami.
I summoned Sukuta
Na sukuta kumandi.
in his capacity as officer commanding operation.
Komka atele moti mi alon ko atele nyaton ka ya.
The witness said
Officer
you summoned Alaji Moore.
I did not summon Alaji Moore.
Ma Alaji Moore kumandi de.
No.
Hani.
I did. Now it was investigation proper.
Sai ni watu kono kisi ro da mutada.
Special operations have finished their task.
Among the special operation wali do.
They were not involved in this investigation.
Da man tara nyin kisi ro.
What was Alaji Moore doing there?
Alaji mor se ata kamuneke nunje.
That very day he was not in my office.
All
All the beating
ni buterol be
was done by special operations.
ni ya ka wala ni moldi ka me special
It was
operation
right there for you to see.
akide fa nyati ngol la pour nyaaje burun kan ko mala
You are putting me back, but you want to believe in what he said.
bar ni lafta la te mi fo
No. I want the facts to come out.
lafta tonya le fi
And I want you to be as truthful as possible.
andu lafta la pour yeke tonya moti ko
We've
ajata re
established here that during this interrogation of these people, Alaji Mor was there.
nga sabati ndi janda ko wato mi ni karol ni jabro be kede ni moldem araji mor benu jele
Wasn't it, in fact, Alaji Mor and his men who stripped these people naked?
fo amanyina make fanke kesoti banko alaji mor na do ko tangolo itolle ni molta
Council, we are going back to what has
Answer the
happened today.
question.
so ndamuru kan ko mala ngam ko foka
It was not only the special operation people that were there.
amon special operation la mol damate mi
I knew there was a team that went to Brikama,
alo ne ko team do botaji
not in the special
mi ya ko
operation.
wolle ñu mol na te mi ay damon tan fa special operation ko
You said it was not only special operations who were there.
ko
That's what you said. You said
ni de ka me special operation amake ñu wor rendi gol torna benum je
it therefore means that special
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland and the rest of the world, Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are from card to Koina with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's Money Transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy transfer services only with Supersonics.
Operation.
mol mi ya ko wolle dabe ñin do ko
Only two people.
wol mo fula dama
From the people I can make out.
nta mol mi ya nse sute
Alaji Mor,
alaji mol lem
Lamin Dab.
lamin dabo
and those are the men of Sukuta Jame.
ni ma botati na ma ke sukura jameti
This guy said the person you called is Alaji Mor.
ñimmari ko ite men kumandi wolam alaji morti
So that is not.
edo ko
You were insisting that he writes a false statement in which he would corroborate what the NIA officers said in their statements.
ning cedo ko
You deny that?
alya
It's a fabrication, total lies,
kala
sir.
tonya di saja kuma ko men safela ning ena ella kuma ko men safela isaji isi mulung isi chokinyola wo mus fanayaldi wo man soto
And the witness said because he refused,
sedo ko tumala men na balanda wala
you called Alaji Mor
ni alaji mor kumandi
and put him in Alaji Mor's custody
ya dum alaji mor bulo kono
so that he may be tortured.
isaji asikeno ya tajire ya
And this is what he said.
andum afela ay memfo
He said to him, since the kid is not cooperating,
ka kay ko tumala men da nyindi no nyinda mantra so makamma
listen carefully.
ila moyni hakilola
Then he has to go through the normal procedures like others used to follow.
kay ko woto sain abete do ko tengole silo menta fanambe o sila kilimo ba sambala ne o sila kilimo la
Which he understood to mean that he should be tortured.
je to ata fona na fahama famfe ko wala nyindi ko to ba tajire yala le
Are you denying that?
yu balanka wala ba
I am denying it's not true, sir.
balanta wala man soto
Please, go ahead.
fon sa senendi no tenten
I think in his testimony in chief,
njikita kawul wato na be diamu kan
he said,
ako
he contradicted himself there.
fon am ala kumol fon manke kilindi fan ala
He
diamu
said, I asked him, go and sit outside.
akonta kay no kay ta si banta
He was later on corrected by someone and taken to Alaji Mor's office.
Ako sa mo do nata kamba
Yes, that is
samba
what he
alaji
said
mo.
here.
I will.
How can I, now he is saying, treat Alaji Mor. How can I leave him or give him to Alaji Mor? One. Two, now he said I ask him to sit outside. Yes.
Abafalo no nyaadi la ntela di alaji mo la mul ko den
Council, that is not true.
Council o manke to nyaadi.
I handed him over to Sukuta Jame
Te Sukuta Jame ngadi wala.
as the officer commanding
Wala
investigation
mu nyaton ko to kisi
to investigate him
yala ko kisi
and to further take statements from him.
Isaje sala kuma ko won fana
Okay, we have heard your version.
yetela fanna mo ile.
The commission would look at them and make a decision as to which version is correct.
What
happened after that?
To
further buttress on this, Sukuda testified in my case.
Sukuda, I accepted
Acknowledging that I handed him over, I handed Kabu over to him. Having handed Kabu to him, few hours later, my deputy at the time, Louis Gomez, entered my office and then said, "Sir, you are sitting here. Kabu has escaped. He ran away." I jolted. I said, "What?" I summoned Sukuda to my office. I said, "Sukuda, what happened?" He said, "Lami Mane collected Kabu. Wherever he took him, I did not know." I said, "But Sukuda, this is the biggest blunder ever an officer commanding would do." Did he tell you the truth? He was working with Lamin Mane. I am not asking with whom he was working. The question is, was that true? I want to believe in him. He was speaking the truth. For real? Sukuda is a very truthful person. The late Sukuda is an elderly person. You see, we have had quite a lot of stories here. Isn't it the case that Lamin Kabu was stripped naked at the NIA? Isn't that the case? This is what he later on narrated, and I will not deny that. Actually, I think if you follow the pattern, you will understand. I follow my own pattern. Good. I ask my own questions. It is common knowledge that Kabu was stripped naked at the NIA and tortured. The then Director General gave evidence here. Your boss at the time, Bobaji, he gave evidence here. He said Lamin Kabu was stripped naked and tortured. He escaped and ran all the way to his headquarters. That is what happened, isn't it? That's true, sir. Council, just a moment. Just a moment. We've agreed that that is what happened. Sukuta lied to you. If he told you that this guy was removed from his office and he escaped, then it's false. He was being tortured and he escaped. Council, I think you did not understand that. I said, when I accosted Sukuta, he said he gave instruction to Lami Mane for Lami Mane to take statements from Lamin Kabu. I think it was at that point they got Lamin Kabu.
I am not disputing any fact.
Hold a second. Before you progress, what do you mean by they got Lamin Kabu?
That Lamin Kabu, Lamin Mane was called to take that course into this gentleman's office. I am not disputing that. Alajimor's office.
If Alajimor had nothing to do with it, why take him there?
So I am not saying it has nothing to do, but I did not give that instruction.
You said a little while ago that Alajimor was not involved. It was Sukuta Jame investigations.
I said I did not hand him over to Alajimor. No, he wasn't involved.
You see,
I handed him over to Sukuta Jame, not Alajimor. Yes, sir.
There is something this witness said,
yes,
which is quite striking.
Now
I read it again. This kid is not cooperating. He has to go through the usual procedure. He said, that is what you said. What was the procedure? Strip the person naked and beat the confession out of them. That was the procedure. Isn't it?
I did not ever tell him that, sir.
Let's put that aside for now.
I did not tell him.
Let's put that aside for now. What the procedure was, strip the person naked and beat the confession out of the person. That was the procedure. You have agreed with instance. Not at this instance. You said this dossier, this investigation, that is what happened to Kabu's colleagues. That was the procedure for this particular occasion. That's what you said. And if I recall your words correctly, in this instance, that is what you said.
What I am trying to put across to you, if you go by my statement, I said when sanity was achieved, that was after
Mr.
48.
Witness,
Yes, sir.
you are trying to separate this, compartmentalize it.
I am, and that was the.
But this is one transaction, it is one dossier, and the same set of people.
I will not dispute anything, but I did not give any instruction.
Let's put instructions aside for now.
I never handed over to Alajimor.
Let's put that aside for now. The procedure was, strip these people naked, sit them on the floor, and beat the confession out of them. That was the procedure.
Not for this gentleman.
Okay, for Kabu's friends, that was the procedure.
That's what we did.
That was the procedure.
That's what we did.
But Kabu was not there when you did it to the others. Correct?
Remember one thing,
answer the question.
Very true, sir.
Okay, fine. Since Kabu was not there, how on earth would he know that this was the procedure? How could he have fabricated this? That this is what you said, that he had to go through the same procedure. My counsel, Kabu is a big liar. Well, just answer. What is certain is that he went through the same procedure. Correct. He was stripped naked. Stripped naked. And his assertion. Are you now taking it back? See, sir, I want you to understand. Listen, it is a notorious fact. Undisputable. That Kabu is a big man.
Kabu kebalti.
Married with kids.
I dimon sotole a fututale.
He ran naked
Aye bori.
from Marina Parade
Aye bori
all the way to Bokul Street.
Katafu Bokul Street. Kabonang Marina Parade. Katafu.
Right, I guess 1.5 or 2 kilometers.
What are the 4 kilometer fula?
In broad daylight.
Tilibula kunti ba katang.
With handcuffs.
Tere ya Bulo City.
You think he was going on a promenade?
Yamara fabita kan no
You think
afayo
he
ya.
went shopping?
Yamara fata da no sandiro la.
You think he went sightseeing?
Yata mira fata da dulale jibe bang.
Council, I want you to let me explain.
Council left la yembula.
Do you agree that Kabu was tortured? He was so badly brutalized. He had to run to go and save his life.
Council, I agree with that, and I saw that.
Okay.
You let me explain.
Look, all I wanted is for you to confirm that again. So now let's move on. What happened to Kabu is what happened to the others before him. He suffered the same fate, correct? Correct? Very true. He suffered the same procedure. Correct? Are you suggesting that Kabu invented this? It would take him to have 6 sense. To be able to, on that note, I want you to believe one thing. That I did hand him over to Sukuta. That is where a blunder occurred. So let me learn something. No, not to talk to him. Sukuta came to my office to receive him. What were you doing with Kabu? In what sense, son? When you brought him to your office, he was brought to my office. What were you doing with him? I told him for what he was brought. And then he refuted all the allegations. So you put the allegations to him. I told him what he was brought for. And you questioned him. When I told him it was brief. In fact, we did not even have 5-10 minutes. I summoned Sukuda into my office. Mr. Witness, what I'm trying to get you to appreciate is that you people established a procedure to deal with these guys. And the procedure was beat the confession out of them. Kabu and those who went before him all suffered the same fate. You agree? Correct. Okay, let me just a moment. Let's take it step by step. This was your arrangement. This was your working method. On this occasion, ostensibly endorsed by your Deputy Director General. True or false? Directly or indirectly correct. And this is why, when that happened, nobody was prosecuted. When that happened, I'm not saying 5, 6 months, 10 months, 2 years later, when some falling out happened. When that event happened, nobody was prosecuted. You agree? Nobody was investigated. Correct? Very correct. Nobody was formally reprimanded. With the exception of Sukuta, I reprimanded him. You spoke to him. I even put him on a charge and I cautioned him. You put him on a charge. You go to the NIA and produce the document. The chair I would ask the chair to give authority for the NIA to open the files for you, so you check it. And you bring the document. I want to make a point very clear here. I am not certain whether that in if I may learn, sir. There are some interesting facts I want you to know. When I was dismissed from the NIA, I did my handing over and taking over. With the exception of my clothes and my personal belongings, I did not leave with any document. So let me learn so. It will be interesting to note to you that my own personal file, from PMO's days to the time I was enrolled there, what disappeared? Are you suggesting that the document may not be there? If my own file, you know how I came to know? There was something we were discussing, and I said, could you check my case, my file? I think you will find those certificates.
He said to me that if I tell you your file, it's
I thought he was joking. It was only when I was redeployed, there was no file to be forwarded from the NIA to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. My boss have written to the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. They are searching for my file, but it tentatively they open a new file. Mr. Witness, what you say is interesting. That's what I'm saying. Not so directly relevant, but I'm sure the commission. This is very relevant, Chairman. Perhaps maybe it's a point to note for purposes of recommendations for institutional reform, that all these institutions should put in place an impeccable system of record keeping with a backup system, such that when documents get lost, well, you would have a backup to go back to. But that aside, Kabu was badly brutalized to the extent that he did the unthinkable. That is, run the streets of Banjul naked. That is what happened. Very true. And nothing came out of it. In fact, you, Alhaji Mor, and Lamin Dabo chased after him and went to his parent office and grabbed him from there. The manner in which the chasing was done, when Louis told me this, let me learn, sir. Just a moment. Who did the chasing? I left my office. Who else? When I'm talking about myself, I left alone. Who else chased after him? Alhaji Mor found me at the NDEA, but we did not live together. So it means Alhaji Mor left the NIA also to go to the NDEA. For the same purpose as you. The purpose are different. Okay, we will come to that. Lamin Dabo, did he also come? I think he was there. But do you recall telling us that in all this Lamin Dabo was not involved? No, that was the day before, but not this one. Not this one. I said, I am not saying Lamin Dabo was never involved. I said Lamin was with the team at Brikama. I cannot remember seeing him when the beating was being done at the conference hall. I just brought this point to show you that Lamin Dabo was there. You knew he was there. You do not have an interest to protect him. Because the thing is, Mr. Witness, just look at it. This person being tortured escaped the clutches of his torturers and ran the street of Banjul. How come suddenly Lamin Dabo was involved in the chase? This was 2 days. And knew exactly where to go to fetch him.
No, this is why you should let me explain.
Wala nenyen tambula nga dante.
But just answer my questions. I don't want all these explanations of things that are tangential.
If I do not, I'll be denying and refuting your answers.
I
got out from my office when I was told. I got down and asked the security what happened. And where did he go? I was shown a direction. Council. This was a security officer brought by the head of his department. So the security that surrounds him, I was very much concerned. That prompted me, I had to leave my office. And then I was told that I was told he went this way and that way.
How were you able to get that information?
When I get out, you can see the people talking and the way we were going.
And what
It's like asking
who Tambita Tenne?
He passed this way.
But the public would not know his name.
No, they did not know his name. They only say someone naked running. That's what I was told. If you are patient with me and you listen, you will get the narrative.
I don't want a very long explanation of things you just want to say but are not necessarily very helpful, especially self-serving stuff.
Sir, they are helpful to me. And I think it will help this commission and the Gambian people to understand. I was very concerned about someone's child. In the person of Lamin Kabu. When I eventually found out where he was, that was he had gone to their headquarters. When I arrived there, they said he's upstairs. I went. I found him at the executive director's office. When I knocked, I entered, complimented Bunsane, and I said, Alhamdulillah, hence he's here. Then he's in safe hands. Then I'm leaving, sir. He said, no. Sit down and wait. All of a sudden, it's very important we make this point clear here. Lamin Kabu, when he was brought before me that morning, the clothes he was putting on is quite different from the clothes that I found him whilst I arrived at their headquarters. The thing Bun told me was, you see what your people did to my man? I was stunned.
Why were you stunned?
When I looked at him, it was that was not how I handled Lamin Kabu.
What did you see that stunned you?
Kabu was crying, sweating profusely.
That is what stunned you?
And then Boone took off the shirt. So you see what they did? I saw scars and marks
and injuries.
This is what exactly so.
Blooded back.
When he saw me, this eyes was quiet and stunned.
Horrified.
Very true, sir. So I told the gentleman, I said, who did this? He said, Alajimor. Just then Alajimor entered.
Strange coincidence, is it?
Well, you see, it will be a coincidence for the fact that also I want you to believe that I hand him over to Sukuta and not Alajimor. Taking cognizance of the fact that I'm a security officer, that is what worries me to follow through.
Continue a bit, witness. When Alajimor entered,
yes, sir.
Just continue from that point. You stop.
He went straight in order to get Kabu. That situation provoked
wala fonga wo ko
very serious scenario. Everybody was vexed and annoyed. That even warranted one of the commissioners, in the person of Lamin Sise, got up and almost wanted to fight with Alaji Moore. Bun got up, said, Sise, you cannot fight for me. I will fight for myself. I had to forcefully ask Job out and push him out of that office. Interestingly, Bun is still alive. Sembe Usman Sane is still alive. Lamin Sise is alive. I cannot remember the other people because I was not acquainted to them that much. The other guy that was there is of late. Well, SSR.
That is SSR.
But these three people, these other remaining people are still alive. Can attest to what Kabu told them. Who did that to him. Sir, let me learn, please. Good for the commissioner and the people.
The thing is, we have to ask questions. Go
ahead, sir.
Your description of what happened in the office is different from what Kabu said. Listen to what he said. He said when he went to Bunsane's office, after the debriefing of what happened to him, somebody called Ibusane, a CID officer, came in to remove the handcuffs. As he was succeeding to loosen the handcuffs a bit, Ibrahima Jim Drame, Alaji Moore, Sirif Sise, Lamin Dabo, Wonto Damfa, and the other officers of the NIA, they jumped in and said, we want to take him back. That's what he said. It was not as nice and cozy like, oh, I am sorry, you are so badly injured. Okay, we leave you here. It was not like that, was it?
That was his version. When I entered, Kabu was sitting in the middle. And this is why I said, the officers that I have mentioned are still alive. I did not see any Wonto Damfa there. I did not see any Sirif Sise there. But I knew Alaji Moore and Lamin Dabo came into the office. But
there was a chasing party.
This is it, but I arrived there first. There was a split of time because I spoke with I had a discussion with Bull.
Okay. In spite of his injuries, he was taken back directly to the NIA. Correct?
That happened, but can we explain the area, please? If it's good that for the people to understand,
make it quick.
When that happened, I asked Job out. He went out. Boone said,
Are you telling us Alaji Moore took your instructions?
Yes, he did. Personally, he did. I asked him out. He did. He did take my instructions. Boone said, get up. Drame, let's go. We came down the stairs, board his vehicle. As we were leaving, just by the cove before, after the police headquarters, where you have the bank, the driver saw Lamin Sima. He said, Sima, fella.
He said, Sima, this is Sima.
Then Boone said, Sima, come.
bunko sima na
jump in. Okay.
na yedu
Let's put it in context.
ngala
Sima is the other drug law enforcement officer who was also accused with
they were the two alleged to have obstructed the operation.
Let me at this stage, you said you were worried for somebody's son. And a security officer for that matter handed over to me by a head of a security institution. And in addition to that, you said you were horrified with what you saw. At this stage, you must have regretted very badly what the NIA did. I was not the least happy in the manner in which I saw Kabu. It's very unfortunate. Sir, it's very unfortunate. Unfortunate in the sense. The way I found the gentleman and what he explained to his superiors, I would suggest that the superiors are someone here to explain in order to exonerate me and prove my innocence. The commission would determine whether that will be necessary. But in this case, all of you went back to the NIA. When you are cooking and you didn't put salt there, this is very important. I am trying to prove my innocence. Rest assured that we would treat you fairly, very fairly, like we would treat every witness. We would give you every opportunity to exonerate yourself. In addition to your testimony, you can write and submit to the commission.
The
rest assured that you will be treated fairly. But also you have to realize that we are constrained with time. We cannot give you all the latitude to say the same things over and over again, or to take us to a direction that is merely self-serving, but does not help the investigative process. Because this is so, you want to only believe in what Kabu said and not to trust in what I said. If we allow the explanation to flow, and then problems are considered later, prove me right or wrong. We would never finish if I do that. And the fact that I ask difficult questions does not necessarily mean that I believe in one thing or another. What I believe, I keep to myself. And I don't make the decisions. The commissioners make the decisions. All I do is ask searching and probing questions. We arrived at the NIA headquarters. At this stage, you must, if what you said is what was in you, and I repeat your words, somebody's son, a security personnel handed over to me. I was horrified with what I saw. If you put all that together, you must have deeply regretted what happened. True or false? Very true. In fact, not only that. Okay, let's just move on. Not only that, it's unbearable and unbelievable that he ran naked. So I never wanted that. I never liked that. But that was the procedures of the NIA. This was extreme, trust me. I'm happy you used that word. When you reach at the NIA, Bunsani went to speak to the Director General of the NIA. And he complained about how his staff, his agent was treated. I don't know what he told them because I wasn't in the office. He would told you, Bobaji testified here. He said he was shocked and horrified. But of course you would expect that this is where it would end. Don't you think that the beatings would stop at that time? Seeing your Director General was shocked and horrified. You too were shocked and horrified about what happened. Shouldn't the beatings have stopped there and then? After that, I did not hear of answer the question. Don't stop. Exactly. But Sima said he was tortured and beaten. I am not aware. He said you were there present when he was being tortured and beaten. It's lies. Council, I want to be as truthful as possible and as self-protective as possible. What I did, I would say, and what I didn't do, I would say. Not to my knowledge. Sima, from the moment we left the reception of the Director General, and Sukuta was summoned to come and collect them, I did not set eye on Sima. And again, until when we were taken to court. They have been brought now to the office of the Director General. He is so shocked and horrified. You are so shocked and horrified. What was the next step that was done? Was for the investigation to continue. And then it was on that note, whatever that was discussed in the office of the Director General, I was not privy to read. So Sukuta came and collected these people for the continuation of the investigation. And that was the primary occupation of the NIA. Continue the investigation, wasn't it? Very true. How about hospital for this guy? You were so horrified at what you saw. Was he taken to hospital? That instruction were given to the officer commanding. It is incumbent of any detainee. No, we know that's a right. We know there's a right to it. And that's why you're being asked the question. Was he taken to the hospital? Council. Immediately after that incident, I got so disappointed, my hands were off sort of. Was an order given that let no other person be touched at the NIA? Do a very clean job. I do. Well, the NIA talks about the clean job. Who knows what they mean? We have heard about VIP treatment, and apparently it means being brutalized and being soaked in cold water and ice. That's VIP treatment. We've heard about 5-star hotels. That was Yajame's hotel, not my hotel. So when the NIA speaks in such terms, we are terrified at what they may mean. See, Council, I want to be fair with you here.
Witness, before you just do that, answer one question he's asked. That's very important. You said instruction was given for Kabu to be taken to the hospital.
That's true, that's correct.
What happened? You didn't say, you just stopped there. The instruction was given.
Exactly.
Was he taken to the hospital?
I will be very fair to this panel. After that, I did not make a follow-up. I think that was a flaw on my side. I was so the trauma was there until when I was told these people are going to court. From that, council, just a moment, from the day when we dispersed at the reception of the Director General, I did not see any of these two people until these case files were sent to the Aegis Chamber. I have never set eyes on them again until about months, very close to a year later, we met at the court.
So as far as you know, Kabu was left to languish in NIA.
I did not make a follow-up, sir.
Council, continue.
I did not make a follow-up.
So Kabu and Co were ultimately prosecuted. And the case collapsed.
Can I explain? Not quickly.
Yes, please.
After one or two appearances, bail were granted. Fernando Ku, Ansumana Fati, Karamo Drame, Victor Obi, I think they all fled the jurisdiction of the Gambia. That sort of stalled the case. The magistrate at the time, Moses Richard, could not proceed with the case. He had to summon the sorties for them to appear. After some time, I did not follow up with the case. Shortly after, I was dismissed from the NIA. For reason unknown only to Yajame. After a while, very close to here,
see, Mr. Witness, this is why I say, if I do not just guide you, you would waste a lot of time. You have used close to 100 words that are basically very informative but superfluous. You could have simply told us, after a while, the case collapsed, there are no witnesses, and it was dismissed for want of prosecution.
This is it. It was not dismissed for want of prosecution as such. The case went until when we were brought before the court. Because their case could not continue. It was terminated.
Exactly. Terminated for what? Because there were no witnesses.
With me, if you ask me, like we had, you said, my perspective. My perspective would be a case where drugs were found, real cocaine were arrested, suspected cannabis were arrested, just to drop them like that. It's very, very, very fishy. I believe their case was dropped so that they could testify in the court against us. I beg to differ, and I can be corrected. That was my belief.
Oh my God. The case was dropped.
Very true. While we were already going to court.
And you are now charged
for conspiracy.
And you were acquitted and discharged.
For 2 years we were going to court.
So you were acquitted and discharged for torture of these people?
I was acquitted and discharged for torture. They were equally acquitted and discharged.
So it means all of you were acquitted and discharged. Do you believe justice was done?
Talk
about your conscience.
My part justice was done.
How about your co-accused?
I will not call that because he has alleged him being tortured and it was very correct.
The question is, was justice done
on that part
with regards to your co-accused?
That one is very challenging. I think that was
it's not a challenge. It's either justice.
Having seen what was done and having witnessed what was said, I don't think justice was served. If I was charged for Fernando and others,
you would have been guilty.
I would have been guilty because I was going to say the truth.
But why didn't you say the truth about the other guys who tortured Kabu and Co?
I was not asked because I was not part of them who tortured them, so I was defending myself.
Let's see the summary of what you told the court.
Good.
Hold a second. Sorry. Oh, you are second accused.
Ibrahim Drame,
Lamin Dabo, Ibrahim Drame, Job, Omar Jame. So you are second accused.
I think the paradigm, maybe this is the typo, but it's like I was either third or fourth when
according to the case title, you must have been second accused. And this is what they say. This is what the second accused say. Lamin Kabu and Sima. The second accused person to give his defense on oath and debunks the allegation that Lamin Kabu and Lamin Sima were beaten by him. He said that he has no knowledge of the totality of the complainant's torturing. No knowledge at all. That was not true.
Was that me or somebody amongst them?
I can only go by.
If you go by that, because I think I was not the second. In fact, I was being provoked.
But did you tell the court that you know for a fact that Lamin Kabu ran away from NIA to Banjul police station naked and in handcuffs? I was never asked that question. Did you tell that to the court?
I did not tell them.
But was this information you had in your possession?
This is a trust.
And you swore an oath to speak the truth. And nothing but the truth. And the whole truth for that matter. Did you give them the whole truth?
The truth was on my side, which I did not commit any crime.
Did you give them the whole truth?
If you go by what we have just said here,
yes.
I did not tell them the truth. But on my side.
But you had taken an oath to speak the truth, Mr. Witness. This is the point here. All of you people, we are protecting one another. There is nothing in this judgment which showed that a single NIA officer admitted that Kabu was tortured. All of you denied torture and you gave fanciful stories which led to the acquittal of all of you.
Counsel, I was only speaking on my behalf and not on the behalf of anyone.
You are very economical with the truth.
In whatever way, but sir, I was...
Do you accept that?
I was economical to defend myself. That is to say, I did not connive with anyone.
You were also economical to protect the others.
I was protecting myself, sir.
Well, you succeeded in protecting the others.
Directly or indirectly.
That's what you did. Justice was not served.
But I think justice was served on my side because I did not
Well, you did not serve justice. Do you agree with that?
In whatever way, sir.
You failed your duty to the state. You swore an oath to speak the truth. You were to defend a person's rights.
ñina tarra jela pour que mola nyanto tankande ka tumala mena ye kalila bribina
And you chose to defend your colleagues. And even in the face of all that evidence, the judge acquitted and discharged. In fact, the rumor was there was judicial interference. Yaya Jammeh called the judge and directed that these people be acquitted and discharged. No wonder. Just can you imagine? You cannot have better evidence of torture than to have uncontroverted evidence that this victim had to run away from Marina Parade all the way to Buckle Street, naked, in broad daylight and in chains.
Counsel, if you go by the charges,
Counsel,
they said we conspired. And I personally did not conspire with anybody. When I went to court,
hold a second on that. There were 2 counts. One was conspiracy to inflict grievous bodily harm. The second is inflicting grave bodily harm. Even if you argue that there was no conspiracy, which is a very tenuous argument, there is abundant evidence that this guy was beaten. You saw the injuries. According to you, you saw the bruises and the lacerations. Those were your words. Your Director General saw the bruises and the lacerations. Sukuta Jammeh saw the bruises and the lacerations. Nobody, of all the witnesses, nobody mentioned that in court. You guys went there with your omerta. You went there and you refused to speak the truth and you refused to implicate one another. You kept the oath of silence. I'm
very much impressed about Omerta, the code of silence by the Italian Sicily mafia.
Well, that's what the NIA was. It was a mafia organization.
Counsel, I went to that court to defend myself and nobody else.
Well, I put it to you that you succeeded in defending your colleagues because you had that vital evidence. And
very correct, sir.
And you kept the omerta.
Very correct, sir.
Thank you very much. I have no further questions,
Mr. Chair. Thank you very much indeed, Counsel. Thank you, Mr. Drame, for your testimony.
Mr. Chair, I have just perhaps one last question.
Yes, please.
You remember this document that you wrote? This case of alleged torture, in which you detailed everything about what has happened in this case.
Very true, sir.
Do you have a copy?
I should have it here. Yes, I do. I supplied that information.
And it is a document that you have signed, correct? Do you realize that there is nothing in your document which shows that you beat Fernando Co and others? And again, in this document, there is nothing suggesting that you saw anything. That showed that Kabu was tortured. So even in this document, you have decided to hide the information.
Interestingly, this information was shelved for you to have an idea. I want to be as truthful as possible to this commission. And I told you on Thursday last week, as I am going, Council, I am going to touch the Quran and I will swear to the Quran.
Let me just cut you there. I think the commission would have at some stage the opportunity to discuss whether you are truthful or not. And there is no suggestion here that you've not been truthful. As far as I am concerned, I am satisfied that you have answered my question. If that is any assurance to you. But it behoves me also to characterize the evidence to show that in both the trial and the document that you wrote, you said nothing about the tortures that happened. Even though you have accepted here to the commission that these tortures happened. These would just serve to show that there was a pattern of concealment. But it equally shows that in spite of the previous pattern of concealment, you have spoken truthfully to the commission and accepted the
Council, there is life hereafter.
Council,
This commission will end. And life will continue. When we spoke last week, I told you I am going to help this commission that we put a rest to whatever that might have transpired. And in order to achieve that, is to be open to you and tell you the truth. This is why I have exactly told you the truth. That is between me and God and the Gambian people that I serve. Thank you, sir.
I have just one issue to...
Go ahead, please.
Your prosecution, information that it was precipitated by criticism of the African or by the African Commission for Human Rights just before the AU summit was to be held in the Gambia. They criticized government for allowing the NIA to run amok and do the shenanigans that it was involved in. Hence your prosecution, but the case was soon dismissed immediately after the commission, immediately after this thing had passed. That's the theory. That's, I don't know, what do you have to say about that? Is that true? What do you say
that
to
that? The
AU Commission criticized Gambia government for letting the NIA run amok and carry out terrible rights violations, and the government says, okay, let's prosecute some people and tick the boxes, and soon after
I wasn't privy to this information.
I'm not surprised that you wouldn't be.
I wasn't privy to it. I would want to respect the views what is embedded in that information.
From a legal point of view, this judgment is really shocking and surprising.
Thank you again, Counsel, and thank you, Mr. Drame, for your testimony.
Counsel, Mr. Drame,
The bruises and lacerations on Lamin Cabo,
we burusol aning bala utol men keda Lamin Cabo la balo bala
clearly weren't self-inflicted.
mang asene ata ko manke kudimi alon ko afangole aka afangol bala.
Time that he spent at the NIA headquarters
Wato men ke NIA la korda bato
and running through the streets of Banjul completely naked.
natana kana ka finti ka bori Banjul sato kono bala kensan ju kensan ko baya wulu nyamen
Was not something that he would do voluntarily.
kule me yalon ko ata fangoto ke la afangwe ala dia nyokan.
He was not a demented individual, as we have heard.
Andung kule ku alwar hala da manke mori yalon ko fanang mantra hakilo balo wato la ko
Let me just read them in the effort that we are carrying out here.
badunga
Short sentences from the statement I read on Monday.
badung kuma kan dantang kare jang fanna fula rong yalon ko tenelu ngaw ko kuma kan wol del karanjang.
First is,
Follow menti
these naked fruits,
walam nying
what we are hearing here now,
nying being kuma sedan dol men moy kan jante nying mo kamol wura
albeit hard and painful.
Mr. Chair,
wullem
Just a second. let me
that
finish this.
interpretation.
Oh, excuse me. Council, thank you.
These naked truths.
These naked,
tonya keso
oh yes, Tonya Kiso, albeit hard and painful,
abe kole ala baka abe diminna fana
must be recorded.
abe nyina kala kulmi ala ko abe safela la
The
ena
second sentence,
fanna fulanja kuma kan to men safe fota
slowly but surely, the Commission is exposing
bare abe abe tari ala bari abe fintila commission ba wanyar kanne
the truth of the horrifying treatment detainees endured.
o nyaama men de mi alon ko molla mi alon ko mutam molle ye kole akol men taki ila mutaw wato kono
They had endured in the hands of state agents, both at NIA headquarters and other secret torture centers across the
di
country.
minna la nun kole yale men soto NIL bulo kono NIL o korda bato anila dinkira kota me alon ko mabor dinkira le me alon ko be kullo kono banko kan
Witnesses in your situation
sedol me alon ko ite fon la kul al halo be laare nyame
who have been adversely mentioned,
men yalon ko ye tol fo in commission nyati lo la jang
as I said them to earlier witnesses before,
ko ngafo nyame ko man to sedol la
that they are not going to be sitting in a very comfortable seat.
ko isenyi lon ko ite karra siri ni sirango siraw ni ya mira ko siraw ni be suma yala me wala nya ko adia de nyame be
Council, some interrogation would get them tougher.
council memu lawyer ti ala nyinin karo ni jabiro abe men so la ni lawyer ta be kala nyinin karo me alon ko be kandila bakele
The temperature would go up and up and up.
andum ko nyimbe kandila bakale wato ni wati abe selala la e kala e sumaya kandi
I wouldn't cut it off. We will seek the truth that we have been asked.
to ko nyin kuntula ba tek ba kandida mba katala do ko men dita na fonga je ko ngaw kisi nga wutu nga fintindi
Just want you to understand that and go on record for witnesses to understand that
lafta
from the
ite
perspective of the Commission.
lafta ite yo nyi long andun sedol fana membira ja sinyi long pour commission wala muy la long kunta dum wala muy hamu fanandi
Commissioners, if you have any questions,
commissioner ni ngadra momo nyi karo so sedo e isa
I'll
itandi
start with Commissioner Sambal.
commissioner sambal bina sedo nyi ngala.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Ibrahim Abdul.
Chairman.
Ibrahim, ante lafta question killing fufula le nyine ngala.
Ibrahim,
Yakal.
I want to ask you one or two questions that really bothers me.
Lafta nyine ngala fala NIA luwalo mnyintiko.
I want to know whether at the NIA there it is a law that
Nimo lafta testify la purka tonya fo nyanta aliya wuranga abaya wuru nyame.
if like somebody is supposed to make a confession, you have to make him born naked.
Inyumbara
Thank you.
la minke to nyatne
What we did is not the right thing.
lan nan tambole
It is we overdo that. Do it.
lafta min tandilela
What I want to show to you is
yaje labi na nyin commission auto
my coming here to this commission today.
beta tabake ente
It is very good for me.
Na doku baluwo kono.
In my life,
Ni ayatra.
if it is,
Mistake ko yen sotono.
I have a mistake that I made, it is this time around.
Dalilo miye wo sabu.
And the reason being,
Hamo warta.
I was aiming big,
Setano warta.
and also the
Jusubol keta.
and I was very
This day,
Ndeka minje.
what I see,
Mbukawo mol jefa.
I don't even see those people.
Nka Gambia le jibe.
It is the Gambia that I look at.
Woman na doku nyanyin correct ndinda ma correct de ani.
That did not make my work proper.
Bari nka mfoko nka Gambia le je.
But what I say that it is Gambia that I see.
Ni ya foye ko bantalanko luntawol binala ka drogo natini ila bankunka.
When you are giving information that outsiders are bringing drugs into your country,
Ye mire idingol la.
and you think about your children,
Wandi dingolu.
other people's children,
Sonding kewul.
the youth,
Ni alon ko ni manta man na beng.
whom you know that if they are not lucky,
Ni bulo sita nyimma.
if they get their hands on these drugs,
Abina kela tinyar bale tinyim
it
bankunka.
will be a lot of destruction in the country.
Fula nyaw.
Secondly,
Na banko la ko jibe.
I look at the interest of the country.
Ye na fo Gambia sai.
So do you see that Gambia today,
Luntawol le drogo natina ya fata nyim bankunka.
that it is outsiders or foreigners who have brought drugs into the country
Nata
and,
ni luntawol
distributed it around.
fananje.
And now we come to find these foreigners.
Na approach tolto jusubole mbulandiala.
The approach towards them was out of anger.
I was very wrong.
I was wrong.
I was very, very wrong. Makeku.
I was very wrong. I didn't do well.
Kani mimirano.
What I was thinking then,
Gambian kol bente chola konge kanta.
that Gambians are paying me salary so that I could protect
Lunta
them.
wol kanna ko be Gambia batandila ba tinyala.
And then outsiders come with the intention of bringing hardship and destruction in this country. That was why I did this, took these extreme measures.
Andung.
And also,
Ukilina bije.
there is also one thing.
Nyinko mun kudi kesoleti.
This issue is like a bullet.
Bi mbetemboto.
Today we are at a stage,
Majority min la fatante to.
the majority that I have
Nga
acquired
fahandro minke.
and the understanding that I now have,
And more especially biring falingo keta.
especially after the change of
I have
government,
come to realize this mistake seriously.
I have come to realize these mistakes seriously.
Mistake ko minyen soto.
The mistakes that I did
Definitely manyang.
definitely shouldn't have happened.
Okay. Hadama dimude,
Every human being,
wibe kuwa kukela.
in whatever you are involved in,
Wandinkol ko eka sama ni bole.
the Mandinka say you consider or think about tomorrow.
Niye sama ni bo.
If you think about tomorrow,
Ni konko ye muta eka murunu akane kaira kono.
when you are hungry, you can return back to that in peace.
And we ten men la lela teloto.
and what you will not do to yourself.
Mwanya na la wandi teloto akole hata nyawanya kome lead council ya fanyame.
You don't do to others just as the lead councillor said.
Because ya lonne ko mbe ya lonne ko ye luwale tinya.
Because we all know that they violated the law.
Bari ni luwa tinya, luwa ye memfo, inganta tamala wala, bari luwa ma fale ko, aliye bala kensenju kensenbula, alike lipa, ando atel ya lon ko atel fangu, ita kelatella, alte sonna wala.
When they violate the law, we all know that they should face the consequences as stipulated by the law. But you strip them naked and you beat them, and you know that if it were you, you wouldn't do that.
Onya, iko ka Gambia le makoy.
Truly, you said that you are helping the Gambia.
Bari turule fitrume ya lonko, mote nyina la fo yomal kiyam.
But you have done something that no one will forget it until the end of time.
Because ale nyin kabu menta nakedly.
This kabu that you were made to be naked,
Dunya sita faye bang.
until the end of the world,
Momo ba fele he kabu, ya ju kensan le bula, abota kabiri NIA, for police line. Adingul ba moila, amamaringul ba moila, amumurungul ba moila, womu life history let.
everybody will keep saying this is Cabo who was undressed naked from NIA up to the police headquarters, and that is something that his children will hear, his grandchildren will hear, and his great-grandchildren will hear. The foreigners who are responsible for what you did have gone back home. But you and Cabo are still here.
And we can be a daoda, the Kelalambirote, Tomote, Bafoleko, Ibu, Wole Bakabu Ranu, Ayebori Kabirin NIA for police line. And
everywhere you pass, there will be these things said at your back that this is the guy who undressed Cabo and made him to run from the NIA up to the police headquarters.
Dukarenal Dani, Nal Natal Sina Simbolo Jube, never again, Ninkana ke Gambia kono kotek. Because Nimu history let me along Kabukanina.
Please, I appeal to you that each time you come here, you read our slogan, never again, because this is a history in the Gambia.
And in Danila, Yake Mella, Dukariye Dani Foisi Yamfi.
And I also appeal to you to reach out to the people that you victimized and appeal for their forgiveness.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioner Kennedy, you have the floor, please.
I would like to...
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Madam, ila kumo sahabata bake.
Madam, you have spoken well.
But hani kabi.
But yet still,
there
is one thing
commission and Gambian Kolialo.
Which I want this commission and the entire Gambia to know. I never insulted Lamin Cabo. I never said anything to him that will hurt him. I, Ibrahim, have not laid a hand on Ibrahim. And I never gave any instructions to anyone to beat Lamin Cabo. I did not beat Lamin Cabo. He knows and I know, and between me and God, I know that I have not touched him. If you can recall his testimony, he said, somebody came and picked him up from my office and took him to Alaji Mor's office. He said when he got into that office, people were standing on either side of him. That is to say that he has seen all of them. He said Alaji Mor was seated facing him. He took a scissors and tore off his clothes. God is my witness. I wasn't there. I did not see it. I did not give the instructions. That is why I say, when they told me and I went until I saw him with my eyes, I was saddened. I was saddened. But also, one thing is there. What I said is that this commission will come to an end. Every person, whatever you do, let us come here and say it clearly. The manner in which I treated Cabo, I treated him like a colleague, service person. When the court ended, I called him. I called Lamin Sima. I called two witnesses. SSR is late. He was at that meeting. Lamin Sise is alive and he was in that meeting. I called Lamin Cabo and Lamin Sima. If you see the reason why I called you for this meeting, yesterday we were having a tussle, a push and pull at a particular place that has ended. Let us try and forgive one another. Myself, yourselves, whatever transpired, we all know what it is. I did not call you here for a court session. This is to say that we should sit down and become one, forgive one another, and get on with the work. But I want to reassure you here today that what I said, the commission will come to an end. But each and every person, you will be the only one inside.
I think Imam, you can agree with me.
I think even the Imam can agree with me.
That iko kullukum ra'in wa kullukum mas'ulu an ra'iyatihi.
This is to say that all of us are here. Tomorrow will be judged by God the manner in which we farmed our farms. I want to assure you today,
Lamin Kabu, Billahi,
I swear,
Billahi,
I swear,
Billahi wallahi tallah,
I swear to God,
He
knows and I know between me and God. I never said anything to him. I never touched him. I never beat him.
Billahi,
I swear.
I
agreed that you have not beaten him. But it wasn't only Lamin Kabu.
Witness
Many witnesses came here. They said that when you torture them, you always undress them stark naked. Just as I want to know I want to know whether you had directives to be treating your detainees. Even your own child, when you are beating him, you don't undress them. Much more someone who is matured, who has a family, who has children. You keep saying that Yajame gave you the instructions, but was it Yajame really who usually gave you the instructions?
Kabula aning Cham aning other people. I'll tackle al badimula. Usually
tarnish Yajam's image, but I know that if what you did to Lamin Kabo and colleagues if you
thank you very much.
If your relatives were in such position, I'm quite sure that you didn't have done that. Let us try to do things in the proper way, because this is not the end of everything. At the end of the day, there is life after here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I heard your statement and I accept it.
But
what would please me also, if we separate the issues, all the things that happened were wrong. They shouldn't have happened. That is very clear to me.
Inshallah.
By God's grace.
Commissioner Kinte, you have the floor, please. Hello, assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
Drame, Ibrahim.
How are you, Drame? Praise be to God.
I
want to ask on a few issues. During your discussions, your interactions with the lead counsel, sir,
conference dula tema ama metare woro bang.
You accepted that the distance between your office and the conference room is not more than 6 meters. What would be your estimate of the distance between the two offices?
Well,
it's not that far, not very long.
I want
you to assist me. Since you are very used to the place, you should be able to give me.
It's like if the conference hall is done.
It's like when the conference hall is there.
My office
is this way.
And then I think the conference hall bundal lebige and bundal lebente fanana dulato.
I think there is a door at the conference hall and there's also a door to my office.
Nindundala office.
When I get into my office,
Ntaje no la mimbe ke kanje.
I wouldn't be able to see what happens there. Take your time a bit. Don't proceed before me. Perhaps you may be thinking about me questioning you on the scene when in essence it is something else. Have you ever gotten into a studio?
No,
No, I have never gotten there. They have 2, 3, or 4 doors, or they even soundproof the doors to prevent sound from escaping from the inside to the outside. Do you have such doors, either at your office or the one leading to the conference room?
We used to have 2 doors that have soundproofs.
Soundproof.
This conference hall here, Sotole.
This conference hall has it.
The Director General office Wofana Sotole.
The director's office then had it.
Conference hall
the conference hall
was one time the office of the Director General.
Director General office
So I soundproof Sotole.
So it had soundproof.
And at the time, the Director General other area me use as their office.
The other place that the Director General uses as his office
also has a soundproof door.
Soundproof bunda sotola.
Oh, akamde kanyina bambande ko ite office metar lulu konto woro sitaram no jele li parole be keri nyindula do bari mamoy.
You are trying to strengthen the position that being in your office and given the 5-meter distance between your office and the conference room, even if beatings were taking place there, you would not be in a position to hear. Are you saying this is what the situation was between you and God?
Conference hall bundabe surrounding.
If at all the door to the conference hall was locked,
until our office be surrounding,
and my office door was also closed,
if
I am inside my office, I wouldn't hear.
If na ayatra
at all,
na office bundabe yelering,
the door to my office was opened.
There is the possibility that I'm based sound tala.
There is the possibility that I will pick up sound.
Probably not as audible as it is in our soundproof sort of.
Probably not as audible as it would be if there was no soundproof.
Okay. Where ni tandi yalong idala le parole be keka wolel tonu.
This to show that close to you was where the beatings were taking place.
Indal Kenya ngol kala mutala. Itini ala tema itemang maka moy be la ofisoto. Eka maka moy memba itanlela ko ka mol le bute wala ka kuke mol.
I am aware of the conditions or the state of the doors, but between you and God, are you saying that you've never heard any sound of beatings in that conference room while you were in your office?
I
am not aware. I have not heard.
Office.
When I get into my office,
now concentration was directed somewhere.
My concentration was directed.
I was talking
somewhere.
on the phone. Sometimes with the landline and sometimes with my mobile.
But when I got out,
I will hear people shouting in the office. It's like, yo, don't know.
People saying, you won't you keep quiet.
And then Babu Cham, arrival,
his arrival
was done in my office.
Was welcomed close to my office door. I was seated. He was undressed in my presence.
Usman Soko
said that,
no,
no, put on your shirt.
It's true.
I said it's true, and I assisted him. And
contrary to I mean for
it is contrary to what he said that somebody shouted that people forgot about him. That never happened.
Usman Sow
said that,
no,
no, put on your shirt.
I told him you are very right.
Usman Palace Jumale Babul.
Right now he's the Director General. He was the Director for External Security.
Director of Karajumala.
What? Internal Security and Operations. You are Director of what?
In Director le Ninjeko Ni Hadamayadi Tinya Bakele Kamuhura.
It is your fellow director who realized that this individual's rights were violated.
And Director Palace Kilnebobul, Director Palace Fulabetable.
And he is director of only one office, and you are director of 2 offices.
And allow for Britea Conco and Tankale Fetafatol Dundal.
When he made that statement, which you concurred with, and enabled him to put his clothes back on. Do you think if you had such thinking or such intention, and these were your genius, do you not think that you would have given them back their clothes to put on? I think I think they ended up returning back their clothes. It's not like it was not like they were left there just like that. In your statement, you said they were not undressed in your presence, but when you came, you found the clothes scattered and the beating and the kicking of the foot off the ground. That would happen outside. By the time you got inside, you found that these things had already happened.
No, the beating had extended, intensified or multiplied because they did it before. Then he was there as a participant.
I mean, the paroni kafutala ye parola fale kende kafang.
Rio beje findita yetu wale nyam wale halol.
When you saw all of these things and you went out and left them in that state, wasn't that what you said? It seems as if in that day you were with the mindset that these people truly had to be undressed and also had to be beaten.
Not undressed, stripped naked and
Commissioner, you are very right.
Commissioner, I am for Walem.
You see the devil. If it possesses anybody, you don't are able to have a limit to yourself. I do not want you to forget one thing. I told this commission that I was angry. Very angry for that matter. I was very angry for that matter. You as a foreigner bringing drugs into the country. The aftermath and the disaster of the Minkela. My thoughts were on the aftermath and the disaster that will cause the country. Now that anger was the reason why I could not see all of these other threats. This is why I could not keep quiet. We must speak that truth. What time the time, if you'd asked me, if you are aware of the destruction that drug can potentially cause, and you know the harm it can cause the youth of this country. Today at the Tanka 90% of the patients on Minbije, 95% of the patients at the psychiatric unit there are all as a result of drug-induced psychosis. Having knowledge about that, and then you think about this, these are foreigners who are trying to cause such havoc in your country. Up till today, I'm not trying to justify my action. The anger that was in me at the time, thinking I'm serving the Gambian people, Gambia Banco Cantanala Molu, to safeguard and protect the Gambia and its and our people. And then you think about foreigners doing such things inside of your country. That anger, that was why I could not see all other things. But honestly speaking, that shouldn't have been.
Okay. Be wudula bulala katu
I will leave that issue aside.
Ebe men na palaso don tele talibole ngote bunsane.
The person whose position you are now occupying was a student of mine, Bunsane.
Maybe nyaton sina ukacha.
I'll leave that. Maybe later on we could have a discussion on that issue.
Na bunda do momenti.
The other issue,
Britata Lamin Kabu Norma.
When you went after Lamin Kabu,
you konte elata Norma amunyene te ko esilata wandi dingo be kasarala.
If you tell me that your going there was as a result of your fears that harm will come by someone else's son, that would surprise me somehow.
Ila Kenya imeita ni niko nyendata baindile kata seindi nimba tubabola kumo yusla to put him to book. Wala nantata kama nankana seindi mbe wala jela bakem itela manyala dina ala kolende ntata jibe mkwar koratankata.
Your actions are such that if you had told me that you went after him to apprehend him and bring him back to book, that is something that I am more likely to believe than what you said earlier on. My reasons are 2 up to 3. First off, when you came and found him in this situation, he had clothes on, you praised God for that. If it were me, I would meet up with Alaji Moore on the way and I'll just walk past him. Secondly, I'll hold him. And it will even be necessary, if he will not cooperate, to have people assist me and handcuff him and take him back to the NIA. Because the emotion that I got from what you have said, if that is really the truth that you are standing by, you and Bun should not have gone into the same vehicle and put Lamin Kabo in it. And that was not the only thing you did. You ended up picking up Lamin Sima along the way also. And you went along with them.
What to follow Kachaba?
Can you discuss on that issue?
Commissioner Kinte, I think if you had followed not Kachania Norman,
if you had followed my testimony, I said after we investigated,
there is people were shouting sache. If the mob had arrested him,
that fear I had, or that if the people had apprehended him,
it was going to be a different ball game altogether. Because when we are at our searchable with Atambitated,
because they were saying a thief had passed and he's gone this way.
To cut that long story short, when I eventually arrived at the Drug Law Enforcement Agency headquarters, for lead counsel here,
when I told the lead counsel, when I got into Bun's office, I complimented him. I gave him his honor. I said, praise be to God.
Because hence he is with you.
It is not necessary that I remain here. I turned and I was about to leave.
No, come, sit, wait.
He said, no, come, sit, wait.
You see what your people did to me?
He said,
to my man, to my boy?
Have you seen what your people have done to my boy? At that time, I stood and looked at Kabu. He raised his shirt. I saw the wounds and the marks that were caused by the beating.
I was speechless.
That was the time that Alaji Moore came in.
Okay. What the time tala back? Haket what the time tala back?
A lot of time, please.
Alaji Moore la dunga yo be fonyala ko tamale.
You have said everything about Alaji Moore's comment. Today, you regret. You've talked about it. What we realized that the taking of Lamin Sima was not an issue. But we then realized that he too was beaten. And the reason you are giving was that after that happened, that was when you left, you got out of this. You left the case. Something that you have accepted that is not normal, it is out of proportion, and it shouldn't have happened. You should have ensured that you established something that is proper before you left. If at all, really, this is something that you had regretted. These two directors,
plus Usman probably. Albanian danyine jela ko woto nyi mo la bango men nata lamin sima o manyan na lipalade.
And Usman probably, you should all have ensured that the last person to come in Lamin Sima that he is not beaten. And chairman was asking on one issue. What have you done about the injuries of these detainees? I cannot begin to think about it, really. That you could give your back on these people without doing anything about their injuries. And also not to ensure that this Lamin Sima was not also tortured.
Up to Lamin Sima through the same line. It
seems the anger in you was still there, because when you had to, this was said that you had to bring Lamin Sima back for him to be tortured.
Abaraka, Mr. Kinte.
Thank you, Mr. Kinde.
Up to the time
up to the time I was living there,
there was no information. Nobody
told me,
through my follow-ups
through the follow-ups that I made,
that the investigation will be concluded. There was no such time there
was no such time that somebody told me that Lamin Sima was beaten. I am not aware of his beating. I did not see it. I did not hear it.
I give an instruction to the OC investigation.
That
all the relevant action should be taken.
Did you make a follow-up to ensure that all the relevant actions were taken?
I was too overwhelmed with all other activities. That area I did not do a follow-up.
I think that is my own my last point was that the court was going on. Your issue was not very grave. Why did you accept to become an obstacle so that those who really had to be punished escape punishment?
Mr. Kinde,
in the manner in which I saw things, something that you are not present, something that you have not witnessed, it has not happened in your presence, you did not have a hand in it.
Lamin Kabula kuola about demande Lamin Kabula Karola kiti dato
if you had said that in any court, you would have ample evidence to prove it. In giving evidence as a witness, the scene is more relevant than hearing.
Londola tunkun sabo kamoy kaje kama madronet kuliata jerot.
Three aspects of knowing, seeing, and hearing. Seeing is more prominent. But if you see that someone has been beaten and he has lacerations, yeah, until anywhere in the world,
this other one ran into the world.
This other guy ran into the world. Then you should have made that known in the court.
Uto lead council la kumoko ibe to nyalu mabo kan economical with the truth, concealing the facts to make people, easy escape. Also,
and this was the lead council said.
And the other kamale.
And this was the lead council said. You were economical with the truth, you were concealing evidence, and you did that on purpose. I take God to plead to you to admit to these facts.
Commissioner.
Yeah.
Actions on him before.
These actions that you have mentioned, Commissioner. Someone went through all of these things, and I was aware of it. It was Lamin Cabo that was beaten. And it was the same Lamin Cabo that ran away. They said he ran naked. God is my witness. What I told you, I found him. I told you the clothes that he wore when he came into my office. Those were not the same clothes he had on. They were different clothes. That is a fact. But you did not say this in the trial. They did not ask me. In my statement, that I gave, it's there.
This is why now for investigators
This is why I said to the investigators that try and acquire the case file and acquaint yourself with the case. If you see me doing all those things,
I want to be truthful to this commission. Whatever
was written 10 years ago, that file cannot be changed. All the things I am saying to you here, it's in my statement.
Okay.
Let me end here. It's late.
Ite la personal file manjano.
On my own, you said your personal file.
Investigate all your case file norma. Inyanta nyimira la fanango askeno menketela wala beje.
Case file abe aegis chamber.
The case file.
So fililoka kalto la buka ke chambers anin ladul.
No, in case file ka wala prison aegis chamber abe utol le bulu.
The case file is with the aegis chamber.
Na bulletin.
Let's leave it at that.
Chairman, thank you very much.
Thank you. Commissioners on my left, do you have any questions? If not, can you proceed to make your final remarks? And make it a bit short. Imam C, you have the floor. The translation didn't come quickly, I guess.
Mr. Drame, Jerejef.
Thank you, Mr. Drame. I did not want to ask, but I want to make clear this hadith.
You stated here. The
hadith that you mentioned.
كلكم راع وكلكم مسؤول عن رعيته. كو gis sammu la te li nga sammu dinañ la ko laaj ëllëg ndax sammu nga ko sammu bu rafet wala sammu lo ko sammu bu rafet.
Everyone is a guardian or a shepherd, and whatever is entrusted unto you, tomorrow you'll be questioned on it. I know that your work, mostly, I know that it's not all of them, but most of you will not guard this verse that this hadith that you quoted. Secondly, the oath that you took here, that is the oath. When you said you didn't touch him, you swore. If you hear a believer say that, and the believer knows the oath, I believe that you have not touched him. Because that oath is not one that one plays with. This was what I want to make clear to you.
Imam, thank you so much. Imam Abaraka.
Thank you, Imam. I thank God for the fact that you believe me.
Up to a level I was prepared.
I got to a level when I was prepared. I brought my personal Al-Quran. God assisted me.
I can read and write in Arabic just like I read and write in English.
And I
was prepared for the commission to subject me to go and take an ablution, even to come and swear.
Whatever I am telling you here, on the day of judgment, God will judge me on that. And whatever I told you here,
once more again, Imam Abaraka,
thank you, Imam, that you believe me. And I will emphasize this, that
with the exception of Fernando, Karamo Drame, and others, in terms of excuse,
I cannot excuse myself from there.
But for Lamin Kabu and Lamin Sima, once again,
on the day of judgment, God will judge me.
Billahi,
to God,
Wallahi, Tallahi,
I have not touched him with my hand. I have never said anything to him. And this is for both of them. The Al-Quran caused me destruction if at all I touched him.
Thank you, Imam.
Well, I hope the Quran saves everybody. Hold it in one hand and slap several detainees several times and karate kick somebody with the Quran you hold the Quran in one hand. It's a very difficult thing to account for on the day of judgment. If you have any concluding remarks to make, please proceed to do so now. Thank you very much.
First of all, I want to thank the TRRC.
Me follow me tanturo kala TRRC la.
The Gambia Masakunda Tentuna. I thank the Gambia government.
Thank the Gambia government
for having the foresight in creating and commissioning the TRRC.
Mr. Witness, for the purposes of the efficiency of the proceedings, I would prefer and I would recommend that you speak, you put your closing remarks in Mandinka, and we have interpretation in English, if you don't mind.
I'll try.
Please go ahead.
Gambia Masakunda Tento.
I thank the government of the Gambia who had the foresight to establish the TRRC. The staff of the TRRC, you have a very hard task.
But the
work, whatever is difficult, if God wishes, it becomes light. Whatever is light, God will continue to make it lighter and make it truthful. That is this hadith.
That is what I said earlier on.
That is what I said earlier on. May God make your work light for you.
The
the task that you have accepted is a difficult one. But anyone that wishes to assist you, then this job shouldn't be difficult. So all of you that are working here at the TRRC, I thank you and I hail you.
Keep up the good work.
Keep up the good work.
I was told, my mother was very
my mom was not very comfortable.
I sent tandi ala
but what I put to her is that your son got himself into making some mistakes. As a result of his love for the country, there were some extreme actions taken on his part, and mistakes too were made. Any person that had suffered any impropriety on my part, I will pray to God that God will give them good mind, good conscience to forgive me. There is one thing that I want to put to this commission. The day that Lamin Kabu testified here before the TRRC, I wasn't in the Gambia then,
but I followed through.
It is true that Lamin Kabu was beaten.
Lamin Kabu ngalon keba dibi konosila keba dibi konosila, an elderly person sitting in dark.
I know an elderly person sitting in the darkness.
Nimol meje.
If people don't see you, you see yourself. And it's clear to me that between me and God, if he sits between him and God, only the two of them, he knows that I, Ibrahim Drame, never said a word to him, much more to touch him.
But God
is the witness on that aspect. Whatever he experienced as a result saddened me, is not pleasing to me.
And that is not what I wanted for him.
And that was not what I wanted for him.
But also
what I want to put to the commission,
Kabu for whatever reason,
he said things about me here.
They are so malicious.
I think they are malicious.
And I
have done nothing to Kabu.
In 2015, Lamin Kabu, I akakodolta drug dealers or bulu.
He used to collect money from drug dealers
through a occasional compromise,
so that he could compromise their cases.
Na kodota.
After taking the money,
director of operation.
He will tell them that that money is to be given to the director of operations. So that at one time, one of the cases was not compromised.
And
the drug dealer got so angry that he exposed him. After that happened,
what drug dealer ya commanding na headquarters?
That drug dealer was called to our headquarters.
Kabu ya commanding headquarters.
They called Kabu to our headquarters. When he arrived, we greeted each other.
Director baby sitting.
All the directors were seated.
Ya nyininga jumale ya londe jumale director of operation tijang.
They asked him, "Do you know who the director of operations is here?" He said, between him and God, he never knew anybody or knew anybody amongst the directors. So they asked him, what transpired between you and Lamin Kabu? He said, one Kausu Sise's case was on.
And after is a Kausu Bula.
He wanted them to release Kausu.
So Lamin Kabu Buki Kodo Lamin Tatakanya Wilitang Anindulu.
So they promised Lamin money worth of 15,000. Akokodo is for the director of operation.
He said that money was for the director of operations.
I don't case man na compromise.
And that case was never compromised.
Because of war,
Because of that,
Nin Lamin Kabo killing,
the same Lamin Kabo,
Masakunda ko ya kitindi.
the government said that they tried him.
Anu the same ako,
And the same person said
ako Kabo ye drug diala wafi.
that Kabo gave him drugs to sell.
Bo kiti bundato,
But at the trial,
ye Kabo muta for official corruption.
he was charged for official corruption.
Because biriabe sonna nyunu beto,
Because when he was accepting all of this,
sedol sotota,
there were witnesses
mi anu wo fay nyokang,
who mixed them with that.
wolbe sotota,
All of them were there.
but katun luwa nata mutano woto.
So he was guilty on those on that charge.
Alimira mantuskala akata ka fombe kodota la director of operation.
Imagine, I have done nothing to him, but he goes out claiming to be collecting money on behalf of the director of operations.
This is why some of our testimony.
This is why I said part of his testimony.
Clarify who was the director of operations.
And don't tell him director of operation.
And I was the director of operations.
And
I went to court with him.
But
that time was during Yajame's time. He is lucky. If Yajame was to have heard that, before the truth will come out, I would have suffered. To make this engagement sure.
Lamin Kabu was found guilty.
Lamin Kabu was found guilty.
And once he was found guilty,
he lost his job.
From 2015 to 2019,
for 2019,
Lamin Kabu Mantranu
he was not working.
I mean for commission here.
What he said to the commission,
Denton Bridge.
I was at Denton Bridge.
Denton Bridge.
When I left Denton Bridge,
Post Gender and Child Welfare.
They posted me to Gender and Child Welfare.
But he did not tell you that he was convicted.
But he did not tell you that he was convicted.
That
the criminal activities was involved in was what led him to be tried and convicted. He said that. He also said to this commission that there was a person who knew me that I told him that if he were to appear before this commission, that he Lamin Kabo will not get promoted, and that I will post him to the provinces.
Lead counsel,
Mr. Chairman,
and all commissioners present. In 2019, the Office of the Director General of the Drug Law Enforcement Agency received a correspondence from the Office of the President.
They said that
if the agency can consider to re-employ Lamin Kabu. Ayatara,
and at the time,
Kabu bala batakonon wati minna,
when Kabu was experiencing hardship,
nakatu kacha drone nankak diamu.
And we were constantly having discussions, we were talking, communicating.
There
is no type of assistance which I have not extended to him.
In the process, a letter was sent to the Director General.
He wrote a letter to the Director General
appealing for a reinstatement.
Inside this letter, he said that
I have the honor and respect to write to your humble office for the above mentioned caption. And I will also take this opportunity to apologize you, the director,
bolosero kete director memu ite kordatioti
directors,
nyaton ko kotangolu,
especially the director of Operation Ibrahim Drame,
surtout director memu nyaton ko memata do ko kunyi tamandre bulola memu Ibrahim Dramete,
and entire management.
aning ala nyaton ko kotangolu.
This is a letter. I mean, Safi Director General here.
That he wrote to the Director General.
Director General reply. I don't just to cut this long discussion short.
The Director General's reply. He said, I want to acknowledge receipt of your letter.
But sign Mimbije.
But what attains now?
If you go according to the public service regulation,
if I told you I are convicted,
you have a cooling period or grace period of 4 years. He said, means no.
After that,
you can apply and you may be reconsidered. Ning alatema
between me and God,
nin Lamin Kabu na bego,
I'm meeting with Lamin Kabu.
Ninta hajo sita,
when there's a need,
nkana motole borindin kata trada be Dauda.
I take my vehicle and get to wherever he is.
Suturo konombe minkela ngake.
And in private, we transact whatever we have to do. God is my witness. After that,
bringing if we can reconsider to re-employ him,
bringing keta foi kabrina na ko fonsi korosiro keno ko pour kata do ko la ko
nina la kacha komanko,
and the discussions we had earlier on.
Ako la bosi sende mano nyawnya nyamake.
He said, my boss, whatever assistance you can give to me, do it.
Ala diamo kono akany abenyaji obola.
And while he was speaking, he was shedding tears.
Chairman ninga korosintol harma dingonka ala tonye nyaming.
Chairman, if you observe, we human beings, the manner in which we offend God, and God is there sitting and forgiving us each time we ask for forgiveness. Who am I for Lamin Kabo to ask for my forgiveness? When he wrote it there, here, that was enough for me. That was why when this reinstatement talk came, the boss that I had,
he has a zero tolerance for corruption.
He said no. Kabu will not come here.
He put the information you put before the management.
He put that information before the management.
I was the chief campaigner.
Director
will be Jan Kilimanfe Konesensedia.
All the directors are here. None of them is late, and they can be my
Director General Manene.
And we appealed to the Director General.
He's a young man.
Give him a chance.
I time Tajanimba Kumbanola.
It took some time before we could conclude that. But God assisted us and he accepted. He said, but now, if we are to reinstate him, what position shall be given? I jumped myself and said, I said to him, sir, then let's reinstate him to the rank with which he left.
That was sometime either August, September 2019.
By God's grace, it was around September 2019. If he should sit down and say that if he comes and testifies before the TRRC, I will not promote him. I want this honorable commission to show to me
2015 to 2019.
Someone who has not worked from 2015 to 2019. How would such a person be promoted? Also, he did not say what was the reason for his sacking. He never even presented that information to you that he was once sacked.
But instead, Anata fo nyin commission ko.
He came and told this commission that I said that if he should appear before this commission, that he would be posted to the provinces and he will not be promoted.
But what I
want him to know also, that he is a Gambian,
and Gambia is from Carton to Koina,
and Gambia is from Carton to Koina. And nobody will ever apply and state that I only want to be posted at Banjul. The way our agency is, and the way promotions are,
commissioner of that region will make a recommendation.
It is the commissioners of the various regions that make their recommendations.
And then the agency have what is called a promotion committee.
Yeah, the agency ni member ko bunda ni fanande committee les romi alon ko wala kam wala makamol lafa.
They will look into all those recommendations and put it before the director general. But
someone who has not worked for 4 years, you go and say that I say that you're not going to be promoted. Is there any proof in that?
Let him produce that person.
Please find out, find out, let him produce that person who said that I said such thing. He's told this commission that I sell drugs. When he was questioned, what case are you aware of? He said the 7A Madi case.
The 7A Madi case, there was a panel that was constituted.
That panel,
the Gambia Police Force representatives,
the Gambia Police Force had 2 representatives.
The then NIA
had 2 representatives.
The military intelligence
had 2 representatives.
Because the Gambia Revenue Authority representatives.
Because the drugs were found in the container, the Gambia Revenue Authority too had representatives in that panel.
And also Drug Law Enforcement Agency representatives.
And the Drug Law Enforcement Agency also had representatives there.
And I was not the person that was representing the Drug Law Enforcement Agency. I was not
part of that panel. What I heard and what happened,
the constitution of that paneling, instruction na mimbo former president
after they did their findings,
report
and they wrote their report,
case file
and they closed their case file.
Service bundal bela report di bela.
They gave the report to all the heads of the various services,
including President's office. Case file
the case file.
Director General Rifa Asika Asamba Attorney General's chamber.
The Director General took it to the Attorney General's chambers
for legal advice and onwards prosecution. Nata realized later.
We came to realize later that the trial could not proceed.
And
while that was happening,
there was no correspondence to the Director General Katandiala Konyin case manta.
And wokuobe kerang kaka watu mena fente jeme alon ko nyomwe irangolen kaitan di Director General ko nyinkito nying amanta.
So a trial in which I was not present, I was not also in the investigation. I cannot tell the head from the tail. During Jammeh's regime, even if they locked me inside a barrel, can my hand touch that case?
But Lamin Kabu,
it pleases him. He came and sat here and said this kind of things. That aside,
Lafta commission ya kalamuta ko. I want this commission to be aware that NIA, before I left the NIA, I was the longest serving director.
Ntela moti ndawe mol kono me alon ko be ila dogo meta director yala je director kono.
Mole long. People know me and I know people. Mr. Ketam I made some mistakes. Well, I mean, the Martin coming for Fernando Nolakuo, and that the only thing that is the case of Fernando and others. But God assisted me also. Now, Jamano NIA, during my time at the NIA, I assisted many Gambians there. Amongst them, there was Usainu Dabo, Antuman Gay, and one foreigner who came to the Gambia. When he was arrested by the NIA, he had manuals of weapon manual. We were suspicious that he was an agent of a foreign country. But after investigation in his case, he told a big lie. He said that Usainu Dabo, Antuman Gay, that he had a meeting with them inside Usainu Dabo's compound, and that he was given a contract by them so that he could bring guns and other weapons into the Gambia so that they could topple Jammeh's government. God assisted us. Under the guidance of my now former boss, Marena. Under the guidance of my former boss, Marena. In fact, I am amongst those people who took that gentleman up to Usainu Dabo to show me where exactly inside Usainu Dabo's compound that meeting was held. When we arrived, Usainu locked his doors. He said, now I'll open the gate. When we got to the door, we stopped the man and we told him, this is the house. Which room did you have the meeting in? He pointed to one room. I asked him, what is inside that room? He said there were tables and chairs. I said, really? Then we opened that room. And God being so good, we found a maid who was taking bath. In the end, I told her, put on a towel. I said to the man, is this a conference room? We took a U-turn. We went home. Usainu did not spend any night in detention. We didn't meet and he and Antuman. We didn't make them to suffer. We didn't tell them any foolish words. They are all alive. They can testify. Also, there was a case inside the testimony here. There was one witness who gave a testimony. Imam Baba Traore of the Ahmadiyya. When they were detained, I was personally responsible. All the food that he got and other people used to come from their respective homes. I made sure that they had the opportunity to speak to their relatives, and he said that here in this commission. I am that Jim Drame who did that for him. That aside, Papsen Mutataje, he was detained there. He was terrified. He got sick. He said he wasn't feeling well. That he was taking medicine. I said, can I take you to a hospital? He said, no, I have my medicine. I said, where are the medicines? He said, they are at home. I took a telephone and gave it to him and told him to call his wife for the medicine. It also happened. Samsar was under our custody. When I arrived, one day, the second day, the secretary said, sir, this detainee does not accept to take food. I went and met him there.
Of that time, at
that time, he was not yet put inside the cell.
Mr. Sir,
I asked him, Mr. Sir, I'm told that you don't accept food. He said that he was not trustful of eating. He was not. He did not trust to eat our food, the NIA people. He said, I told him, then they can bring the food, our food, and I will test it in your presence so that you can eat. But he said no.
Because can we then buy food for you from any of the restaurants?
He said no. I said, now what do you want? He said food that was to come from his own house. I said, well, fine. Call your wife, let her bring it for you. His wife brought food, but then I disturbed him there. Each time his lunch comes, he sits there and eats it all by himself, alone. I said to him, well, I used to invite you for my food, but you never invited me for your food. And he just told me, younger brother, don't play with me. But we were just playing. But this is very clear to me that you have Madi Sise.
Then we are telling president of the GPU, Gambia Press Union.
He was the president of the Gambia Press Union. And we parted in a very cordial way. He was there. I couldn't take him out of it. But I didn't make his stay there difficult. 2 months ago, he's one of the members of parliament now,
Human Rights Commission committee,
who are in the Human Rights Committee. He came to our headquarters and he was disturbing me. And I told him, look, if you are not careful, I'll be telling you again. Right now, we have a very close relationship.
Mr. Drame, well, you have been indulged to give a lot of examples. You can write these things and send them to the commission. Could you just come back to the main issues?
The reason why I cited all of these examples, they were mistakes. But I also want people to know that apart from the mistake, there is also some good that I did. I'm a human being.
To err is human.
To make a mistake is human.
But to forgive is divine. To forgive is divine.
Mandinka?
To forgive someone,
definitely
it's a God's thing. What I want to make clear here, the same Lamin Kabo sat here. He said that I shot Alaji Sajo. It's not true. I never shot anybody.
So this is why surround
all of these people.
I have the feeling that
I have the feeling that
having done all that for him, when
all that I have done for him,
he has that still the malicious intent inside him.
He is not prepared to say anything without allegations against me, and I leave that between him and God.
It is on that note, I
want to thank you all and to hail you this good work that you are doing. There are also people outside. My colleagues at work.
Alpha na boss.
My boss.
He has been encouraging me a lot to come before the commission and speak the truth.
Kita mole tumi alonko ameta kam ntete kam fenke prinsina no commission nyato jankat diam.
And anytime nimbe minkela,
and anytime that I am doing something,
na dunna findo TRRC jang,
by coming in and out of the TRRC,
e man na kumpa.
Nothing is done in without his knowledge.
Kuma kilo wodrone ka bo adako no.
Only one thing that comes from his mouth. When you go there, speak the truth.
Mbama ko,
my mother say,
ni furata je,
when you arrive there,
onyafo.
Speak the truth.
Kodo mako,
elder brother said, when you go there, speak the truth.
Namuso,
my wife,
ako Ibrahima.
She said, Ibrahima,
ni dimbaya atale.
You are a family man.
So ni tata je.
So when you go there,
woku mise bula malola.
Anything that will bring shame or disgrace to you, try and desist from it. And I want to tell her that the truth has been established here. I have spoken the truth.
Inshallah,
and God willing, whatever I said here, there's truth in it. I thank you. And I hail you. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Drame, for coming to testify before the Commission.
Mr. Chair, before you...
Yeah, I'm coming, just waiting for the translation.
Mr. Drame, bafle baraka baka ila najam kela sedian di Commissioner.
And just to mention that the translation of provinces into Maninka is not Wulokono.
No fana kafo ko komin kana soro min keta kafo Santo Sate to wolem Wulokono te kafo mi province Santo Sate.
It's not Wulokono.
Amanka Wulokono te.
All due respect, your village excluded, sir.
Thank you very much, Emma Council. You have some submissions to make.
Are you saying he's Wulokono excluded? Are you saying he's...
No, I am not Wulokono.
I will take it. Thank you. Mr. Chair, I have 3 exhibits to put in. Mr. Witness, kindly send us that letter you referenced, the letter in which Kabu requested reinstatement and asked and apologized to you. Mr. Chair, the judgment in the case would be Exhibit 192, if you agree. And 192.
92, yes.
And the document he wrote giving his defense of the allegation of torture is Exhibit 192A. And the letter requesting reinstatement is Exhibit 192B. Thank you very much, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, and Mr. Drame, thank you very much indeed for coming to testify before the Commission. We will end our proceedings here now and resume tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you all very much indeed.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonics Money Transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics. If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonics Money Transfer has got you covered. With the largest